career, Ron is also a recipient of the Chief's Recognition Award for outstanding police work. It gives me great pleasure tonight to promote Rana Atlek to the rank of sergeant.
I, Ronald Atlek,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of my position
all the duties of my position
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
for the position of police sergeant
for the position of police sergeant
for the Township of Old Bridge.
in the Township of Old Bridge.
Good, congratulations.
Kurt, please join us. December 30th, 2005 was the date that Kurt Hallis was sworn in as an officer with the Old Bridge Police Department. Upon graduation from the Monmouth County Police Academy, Officer Hallis was assigned to the Patrol Division. While serving with the Patrol Division, Officer Hallis received several Chiefs Recognition Awards and the department's Unit Citation Award. On January 2016, Kurt was assigned to the Detective Bureau, where he served until his assignment as acting sergeant in May of 2022. He is currently assigned to the Patrol Bureau. Kurt was selected as the first pilot to serve on the Small Unmanned Aircraft Systems Unit for the department and also holds a position with the County Crime Camera Program. In addition, Kurt is a serious fatal motor vehicle crash investigator and certified emergency telecommunications officer. Kurt has been a recipient of the department letters, commendations, and department awards, and numerous letters of appreciation from our residents. Tonight is my privilege to promote Kurt Hallis to the rank of sergeant.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
and will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of my position
all the duties of my position
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
for the position of police sergeant
for the position of police sergeant
for the Township of Old
for the
Bridge.
Township of Woolwich.
Congratulations.
Again, thank you for coming out tonight. Congratulations to all our promotional officers. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. Congratulations.
That's the total for the bill list. So if you, when you read it out loud, that's the
Oh,
total.
okay, where is it?
Resolution, that's next on our.
Okay, so wait,
It's not
resolution 50.
15, it's 17.
Okay, so I gotta, all right. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay.
right after Silver Linings.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It was a nice trip. The baby was her. I went to see Mary's daughter, Kat. She's my best friend from middle school. Yeah. So I went to St. Louis. I came out there.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Again, it was a pleasure to have everyone here for the promotion of the police officers. That's a wonderful thing. We also tonight have another presentation, and Anna Feltz, our Director of Silver Linings, is here, and we're going to give an update on what's going on at the Senior Center.
As council, we feel it's important to keep the council updated on what's going on in town, and there's one of our most important programs is our Silver Linings program that takes care of so many people. And as we continue to rebound from COVID, Anna continues to make strides at the senior center and making sure all our programs are accessible to everyone. And I mean everyone, whether they be still at home, whether they be here, and we're even expanding the program. So we think it's important that we give an update to the council. So Anna, without further ado, you could take over.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for having me today. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. I am happy to be here today to give you a brief update on what's been happening at Silver Linings this past year. As you may know, we fully reopened in March of 2022, and our members were barely basically breaking down the doors to get back in. So it's been quite busy the last few months, and I think this was the perfect opportunity to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what's been happening. So all of our programs and services are back in full operation. All of our social services, all of our recreation activities are back in full operation, our meal program, transportation, and it's been very much welcomed by all of our members. All of our exercising classes, as well as presentations and seminars, are actually still, though, being offered in a hybrid format via Zoom. We found that we are still averaging 15 to 20 people on those classes, besides the 40 to 50 that are also in person. So there's really no need for us to stop that. Zoom is free. We get Wi-Fi, so all we have to do is hook up a computer and a camera and a microphone, and we're good to go. So that has proven to be very popular, and we are continuing to do that and are actually in the process of educating other senior centers on how they can do that as well. It's been a great thing for us to be able to address social isolation, and we're going to be expanding this with our Meals on Wheels programs and those that have always been homebound as well. We currently have 459 active members. We have about 1,500 registered. When I mean active, that means that people have come through the doors this past year, have been 459 members so far. We've registered 99 new members since January alone. We provided 2,200 information and assistant units, which is a lot, and that could be anything from helping somebody get a service they need, signing them up for a class, registering them for the center. We've provided over 6,000 rides since March, which is quite a lot in just, 4 or 5 months. We currently are receiving 8 APC grants through Older Americans Act funding. Those include assistive technology, education, which is a new grant, information and assistance, mental health, physical activity, public awareness, socialization, recreation, which is also new, and transportation. As you can see, those help us provide all of the great services and programs that we offer at the center. We also receive CDBG funding for our frail and elderly aid, as well as our sub-drivers, and also to make building improvements. Some of the new programs that we've done this past year have included our new world language program that we have been able to start with our education grant. So far this year, we've learned French in the first quarter of the year, Spanish in the second quarter. This quarter, we actually are doing American Sign Language, which has been really, really amazing. And in the fourth quarter, we're going to be doing Italian and possibly ESL for some of our non-speaking English-speaking members as well. We started a story writing class that we are now in the process of getting those 12 members that took the class, their books published. So I'm in the process of getting that done right now. The class was a big hit. We started our Silver Linings Night Out, which is one Friday night a month during the summer. Our seniors get to come out to the center for a program. In June, it was a game night. In July, it was a carnival, a family carnival that Mayor attended and was very, very well liked because their members actually got to bring their families, grandkids and all, to the senior center for a family carnival. We started a silver crafts program, a treats and sweets baking class that evolved out of a baking cookbook that we created during the pandemic. We started a book club and actually got to meet a New York Times author, a New York Times best-selling author back in June who came to the center and spoke about the book his book that we read during one of our book club meetings. Our tap classes evolved into a tap team. So now we have a tap dance team called the Silver Tappers. And we actually have started a Silver Leaf Plant and Garden Club that began during the pandemic, but that has evolved quite a bit. So the club began with 10 people during the pandemic and has now grown to over 20 members. They're responsible for planting and maintaining the vegetables at the food bank. If you have driven past the food bank, you'll see we have a little bit of a garden out there. All vegetables that are grown are given back to the food bank clients. So we've grown eggplant, tomatoes, lettuce, kale, a bunch of different herbs, and actually we, just for aesthetics, added sunflowers. So again, you may see those right along the food bank fence. Recently, the club assisted with the renovation of the gazebo area between the administration and recreation buildings, where the mayor actually does a lot of the weddings. With the assistance of the Department of Public Works, members planted flowers, a lilac bush, a butterfly bush, and has assisted with the renovation of the gazebo itself. The club has taken trips to local parks and gardens as well. And I know the mayor wanted me to highlight the garden club because they did a lot to renovate that area that is now really, really pretty. We're actually going to be adding more plants in the coming week there as well. This is just them doing their work with the assistant of public works, and Casey and a couple of his crew assisted us that day. They're coming out in the heat. Our meetings are 8:30 Monday mornings to try to get it all done before it gets really hot out there, and it's worked out pretty well. On the bottom, you'll see also a couple pictures of our garden as well as some of our members. And this was the finished product of the gazebo. One of the last touches we have to do to the gazebo is paint the ceiling blue, so give it that little sky effect. But this is one of our best clubs that we've had, and they are really glad that they are able to give back to our community in the way that they have, especially with the garden, the vegetable garden. Just a couple things that are coming up at Silver Linings. This month, our night out is going to be a Hawaiian luau that already has 105 members registered for it. In September, we're going to be doing a coffee house / art gallery. We're going to be starting an art history program in September also through our education grant and with our art instructor. We're going to be starting a theater program as well. It's called Silver Acts also, so we're excited to do that. I've partnered up with the mayor to sponsor some of our members to attend the New Jersey Senior Olympics for billiards and pickleball. So registration for that and more information for that is going to go out this week to our members. September is Senior Center month, so you'll probably see me at the September meeting as well. And we're going to have a bunch of fall trips. Public Works is going to be overseeing our billiards room renovation, and we have a lot more as well. As always, if you have any questions about Silver Linings, feel free to call us at the office. You could visit us on our website, and we are also still on Facebook through our Facebook group as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Does any council member have a question or a comment? I'll start Mr. Pescetti and then Dr. Greenberg.
Wow, Anna, awesome.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank
You know, you guys are doing a lot of stuff there. You know, that's wonderful. I only had one small question on the Spanish class. What dialect?
I'm not sure because I didn't teach that class. I hired somebody else to teach it, but I'm not sure which dialect they ended up doing. So, but the seniors loved it. We had it was a sold out class with a waiting list. So I guess it went well for 3 months.
Wow, good job. Keep
Thank
up the good
you.
work, Anna.
Thank you. Yes, I taught the French class. Yes, I did.
Well, I'm just very impressed. It's really overwhelming to see all the innovative programs that you brought to town. And the most important thing is to get people active and be engaged. That is critical to their health and well-being, and I compliment you for making the effort that you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
How about if I elect anyone? Would be good. Well, Anna, once again, you exceed our expectations. I think that you have such a positive energy about you that it really is infectious, and I think that the seniors love that. And they really bloom when they come to the center. I think it's great, like you said, to keep people moving and reach out to them, even if they want to do it on the Zoom. You know, at least they feel like they're engaged and they're part of the community. And the senior community is so important to us that I really think it's just amazing how much is being, done over there. Thank you, Himanshu. Thank you, Mayor. Everybody works together and really makes it a great place. Matt, too. So thanks again for coming and sharing.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
That luau sounds like fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Thank you. Next will be our bill list, resolution, the payment of bills, claims, and statements against the Township of Old Bridge in the total amount of $17,557,858.93. Mrs. Walker.
Accounts payable, August 9, 2022, $15,321,648.55. Payroll, July 22, 2022, $1,057,529.75. Payroll overtime, July 22, 2022, $35,056.15. Payroll, August 5, 2022, $1,103,857.33. Payroll overtime, August 5, 2022, $39,767.15.
Sorry. Mr. Shaw, do you have a breakdown for us of the overtime, please?
Yes, Council President, thank you. So as Councilwoman Walker indicated, for July 22nd payroll, the total overtime was $35,056.15. There was an uptick in recreation with the startup of summer camp, but outside of that, it's normal in all other departments. For the sworn officer, the total overtime was $28,181.99. Deduct grants, $3,918.84. Deduct ETO, $7,395.27. The net overtime was $16,867.88, representing 288 man and women hours. There was no pandemic cause. There were 3 officers injured on duty and on light duty. For the August 5th payroll, again, as Councilwoman Walker indicated, total overtime for that pay period was $39,767.15. There was no really an uptick in any other department. For the sworn officer, total overtime was $28,790.36. Deduct grants, $4,052.05. Deduct ETO, $6,378.75. Net overtime was $18,359.56, representing 275.50 men and women hours. Again, there was no pandemic caused, and there were 3 officers continue to be injured on duty or light duty. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. So if anyone has a question, if not, we'll take a motion.
I'll move it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Palmer, second by by Dr. Greenberg. Okay.
Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Paschetti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes. Next will be public reading, hearing, or adoption amendment for those ordinances for second reading. The first one is H1, Block Party Carroll Place. Good evening. You can have a seat if you like, yes. Just be sure the microphone is on green and that you speak into it because it's really important for them to be able to hear you out in the public. Green. Yes, ma'am. Okay, got it? Okay, so just speak into it, please.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, you're representing the,
Carroll Place, yes.
okay, all right, and
So, Council, we received all the proper documentation, and we have found no reason from any of the departments to deny the request for this block party. All requirements have been met. And again, it will be stipulated on their permit that they, what is allowed, that they're responsible for boundaries and cones to block
what you need.
the streets.
This is
so
our
it'll be listed.
8th year doing it, so thankfully, we're really familiar
I was gonna say,
with
this
all
is
that
not
stuff,
your
but
first-
We
yeah.
do always check, the permit and look and see if there's anything new or updated, on there.
Right, so anything that we put on the application is then transposed onto the permit so that everybody's aware of what their requirements are.
okay, very good. I'll take a motion.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg, second by Mrs. Walker.
Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy?
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti?
Yes.
Councilperson Walker?
Yes.
Council President Sohar?
Yes.
9 yeses.
Okay.
Have fun.
Have fun.
All right, thank you.
Let's go Mets.
Yeah, right, we're looking good this season.
Hopefully the weather's good. Thank you. Enjoy. Okay, next is H2, and that's Block Party on Longview Road. Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
So this is my first rodeo.
It's okay.
I'm a little nervous, sorry.
Not at all. Just speak into the mic, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. And
Just state your name for me.
Barbara Cirillo.
okay,
Cirillo?
Cirillo. Okay.
Okay. Again, Council President, we've received all the proper documentation. It's been reviewed by all our professionals. We see no reason to deny this request.
Okay. Anyone? Any questions?
Move it.
Second.
Okay. Moved by. Was that Mr. Murphy? Okay. And second by Mrs. Walker.
Roll call, Council President DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy?
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti?
Yes.
Councilperson Walker?
Yes.
Council President Sohar?
Yes.
9 yeses.
Thank you.
Have a great time. Enjoy.
So we'll let you know when your permit's printed up and ready to go. for you.
Okay, thank you.
It was great.
So we do have a block party that missed our agenda, and that would be for Miller Avenue.
Hi. How are you
Hi.
this evening? You can give your name for the
My
record.
name is Maria Riva.
Okay.
It's for Miller Avenue.
Okay. So again, Council President, we have reviewed the application submission, and all the professionals have taken a look at the submission and find no reason to deny the request.
Okay.
Move it.
Move it. Second.
Moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses.
Okay, very good. Have a good evening and enjoy your party. Okay, next.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
My computer's not up, it's not working. Can I get the dates of these?
Oh, sure, sure. Yes, absolutely.
Is the new one?
Okay.
I'm sorry? This is the new one.
Okay. All three are on here?
No, this is just the one. I can send you the dates.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Okay, all right. Next will be H3, Ordinance Amending Chapter 10 Traffic, Section 10-19.7B of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge, 191 Orchard Avenue.
May I have a motion to open to public and bring
Right.
forth?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg, second by Mrs. Walker. Okay. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to come up and speak on this matter?
Do you want to miss them?
Yeah, no. I'm going to close it. Okay, we'll close the public, and then we'll see, does the council, any council member have a question or a comment? Okay, then roll call, please.
Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia,
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli,
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy,
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini,
Yes.
Councilperson Walker,
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
9 yeses, motion carries.
H4, Ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge amending 108-8 of Chapter 108 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge, currently reserved to be entitled Special Inspection Fees. Do I have a motion to open it to the public?
Second.
Okay, Dr. Greenberg, followed by Mrs. Walker. Okay. Is there anyone in the public who would like to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing no hands, I'll close the public portion and go to council. Anyone on council? Okay.
Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
9 yeses.
H5, Ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, rescinding and replacing Chapter 198 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Flood Damage Prevention. Do I have a motion to open to public?
Move it.
Second.
Dr. Greenberg, second Mrs. Walker. Is there anyone in the public who would like to be heard on this ordinance for second reading? I'll close the public portion, seeing no hands, and we'll go to council. Anyone on council? And roll call, please.
Having a motion made by Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli and seconded by Councilperson Walker for a motion to adopt ordinance number H5, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
9 yeses, motion carries.
Next is H6, Ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge amending 394-1 of Chapter 394 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Holiday Sale of Flowers and Plants. Do I have a motion to open it?
Move it.
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Murphy, motion by Mr. Murphy, second by,
Dr. Greenberg.
hearing a motion by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli for the adoption of ordinance number H6. On the roll call, Councilperson DeCaro.
Any public? Oops. Is there anyone in the public who'd like to be heard on this ordinance? Yes, come forward, please. No, that's okay.
Skipping over.
No worries. Good evening.
Good evening, may I sit?
Yes, please, of course. And there's naturally the green light. And just if you speak into the microphone and give us your name for the record, please.
Good evening, my name is Christina Ryback. I am the owner of Flower Cart Florist. Good evening, Mayor Henry, council members, and staff. My name is Christina Ryback. I am the proud owner of Flower Cart Florist for over 33 years. I have come here before you to talk about the proposed ordinance change. Back in 2006, I decided to move my business to New Jersey from New York, following many of my clients who had already moved out here. After much research and 2 years of prospecting, I decided to move to Old Bridge. The ordinance in question was one of the attracting features of this town. In New York, pop-up vendors were a constant nuisance that ate into our much-needed holiday revenue. In 2008, I found a location and moved to this town. I understand that the ordinance change was suggested by what I consider to be an upstanding fellow business person. I feel this person is a proud supporter of our town, law enforcement, and first responders. I would like to propose that instead of changing the current ordinance, you grandfather his current permit. He has legally been doing business at the same location for over 35 years. The ordinance in question came about only 22 years ago. I feel it is only fair to continue to allow him to sell his Easter and Christmas merchandise as he has been doing all along, starting at least 2 weeks prior to these two holidays. Changing the ordinance would endanger both of our business, as it would allow pop-up vendors to set up at the gas station, church, and empty building parking lots just before my florist on the southbound side of Route 9, as well as the shed builder, gas station, and bank parking lots just before his business on the northbound side of Route 9. Holiday revenue is something we count on to carry us through the slow months of summer and early winter. These actions could possibly devastate a small business such as his or mine. At this time, I would like to present to you pictures I took on November 25th, 2021, Thanksgiving Day. These pictures are of what I would assume to be an illegal pop-up vendor that's set up on the southernmost corner of the south side of Route 9 and at the intersection of Cindy Street. As you can see in these pictures, this pop-up vendor was selling his flowers at an alarmingly close range to the highway, with no off-street parking, no heed to safety for his customers or the pedestrians or the southbound traffic. Changing the current ordinance is only going to encourage such actions, as well as tax our currently overburdened government offices and police departments. At this time, I would like to thank you for taking the time to listening to my suggestions and welcome any questions you have in regards to this matter.
Thank you very much for sharing all that information with us. Now, is there anyone else in the public who wishes to be heard on this? No? Okay, seeing no hands, I'll close the public portion and we'll go to council. Anyone on my left? Yes, Mrs. DeCaro.
Yes, so I would just like to say thank you for speaking up for yourself and for your fellow businessman. I agree with you. I think we do need to respect our businesses that have been here for a long time and doing business the way they're supposed to be done. So I do, I'm hoping that we can, make the wording change so that we can help our businesses that have been here for so long.
Anyone else on this? Did you want to speak, Mr. De Palma? Okay, thank you.
So just for clarity, what we're changing is we're increasing the liability from 100 to 500,000, and then we're allowing it to be 2 weeks, 14 days prior. Okay.
You have to come up because we can't hear you.
Oh, no, she was just stating that the other item is that within 2,000 feet of another florist.
She's trying to make it clear.
Okay, I just want to make sure that, for the record, for folks that are listening, that there is clarity. And I know we have discussed this, and maybe we should look to discuss it a little bit further.
Anyone else on my left?
I also respect you for coming up, and I frequent your store often, especially when you were close to my home, when you're in the Town strip mall. I miss you. So anyway, the small businesses are very important for our community, and we want to make sure that your business is stable and it flourishes. And I admire you for coming up and stating your cause, and also for your neighbor. And these pop-up florists, they are upsetting, because I'm not sure where they're going to be. They may come in and, they can be all over. And sometimes I'm not even sure as far as, they get a permit. I'm sure gas stations allow them because they get, a fee for having them there in different places. But at the same time, we have to be respectful that our businesses that pay taxes, that you are sustainable. So I think it's something that we have to evaluate. Because it's like, how many pop-up florists do you allow? They may follow the rule, but how many do you allow? Is there a limit? No. And it just creates a lot of problems, I think. I also understand, I respect anyone trying to make a living and trying to make money, but we have to do this in a sensible way that, really for our businesses, that they come first. You're the taxpayer in our town. You support different organizations throughout the town. You're very generous all the time. I know The schools come for, people come for donations, whether it's schools, churches, et cetera. And I think we have to evaluate this. Thank you.
Mrs. Walker?
I think we have to look into this a little further. She brought up some very good points. Originally, it was to protect, I guess, the one place. He'd been there for many, many years, and I don't agree with the pop-up vendors because I think they hurt the established businesses. So maybe we should, I don't know what everybody thinks, maybe
No, I
we should
agree.
table it and see what we should discuss it a little further.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that you brought to the table something else, a different lens. And sometimes that's a good, we're very glad you did come because you brought up some things that we weren't always necessarily thinking about. So I do agree with Mrs. Walker. Do you want to make a motion? We could table it and then
I'd like to
revisit
make
it
a
with
motion to table it. I don't know if anyone, I
Second.
think somebody else wanted to speak.
do you
You're
want
good.
to speak, Tony?
Yeah, well, I also want to thank you for coming in. And I had problems with this ordinance too when we were discussing it. So I would like to table it and
Great.
we can discuss it further.
Yeah, I think we all feel the same. We
Well,
want to
now that we
protect the
tabled
business,
it, we
but we
just-
want to inspect that vendor who's been doing it for over 30, 40 years also. It's just these pop-ups that just literally come to town, set up at a gas station or a parking lot, and then go and really don't participate in the community.
Looking at
Thank
these,
you.
Looking at these pictures, this seems dangerous to me. Like you said, there is no way in and out. They shouldn't be set up on these corners, wherever they want to set up business. I don't think it's proper as well.
Maybe we could add
This
something
thing is
about
dangerous.
pop-ups. Yeah.
Look at, to me, these pictures are dangerous.
Okay, so let's do that then. This way we can revisit it and take into consideration all of your concerns. Okay, do we have a consensus? You made a motion to table? Okay, so a table is from Mrs. Walker.
Motion to table made by Councilperson Walker, second by Dr.
Greenberg.
Greenberg. And we'll table it to the September 13th meeting?
Yeah, yeah, because the holidays are coming and you want to be comfortable with what's going on. Definitely. Sure, no, listen, that's the way people should work together, businesses too. You're both in town and you both have a lot at stake. So I think that was great that you
Council
came.
President, may I suggest a table to the second meeting in September to give us enough time
All right,
because of the vacation time.
Okay, as long as
Need
there's
to
enough time to get this
Discuss among
done.
ourselves to
Okay.
see what we want to do.
Right, that's what my concern was. I just want to make sure it's in place before that.
And we do need a roll call on the motion to table.
Okay.
So roll call for the motion to table. Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai? Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy?
Yes.
Councilperson Paschetti?
Yes.
Councilperson Walker?
Yes.
Council President Sohar?
Yes.
9 yeses to table the ordinance for the second meeting in September.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing with us. It's appreciated.
Council President?
Yes.
President Sower, can I just ask one question? Those pop-up vendors that you shared your pictures with, do we know if they had permits? Are we able to, kind of crack down on those pop-ups? 'Cause I know we're talking about they pop up a lot. Is there a way to crack down on that? Like really, if we see them,
Report them.
report and, make sure they all have permits, because clearly some of those people would not have had, permits for the way they, the positions that they were in. So we need to really crack down on permits on these places too.
Clerk's office never received a permit application from any pop-up vendors.
Yeah, so that's-
They were there and we were not aware that they
Yeah,
were there.
right. So we need to address that also. Yeah.
Next. Yep. To table?
I did.
She did. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Next will be H7, ordinance improving funding for municipal complex courtyard improvements for the Township of Old Bridge and appropriating $160,000. Do I have a motion to open it to the public?
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Dr. Greenberg. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing no hands, I'll close the public portion and ask council. Anyone on my left for a question? Anyone on my right? Okay, so then roll call, please.
On a motion by Councilperson Walker, second by Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli to approve Ordinance H7, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses, motion carries.
Okay. Next will be ordinances for first reading. FR1, ordinance requesting Title 39 jurisdiction for Woodhaven Village, Section 2, Phase 2 and 7, Planning Board application number 14-13P and 01-18P, McCormick Avenue North, McCormick Avenue South, Haran Court, Gonzales Drive, Wright Court, and Woodhaven Boulevard from Texas Road to McCormick Avenue North. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Mr. De Palma.
On a roll call, for said ordinance, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
Public hearing set for September 13th, 2022. That was 9 yeses.
Next will be FR2, ordinance amending Old Bridge Township Code Chapter 250-38.1, Economic Development Opportunity District Zoning and Design Standards. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Roll call on first reading ordinance number FR2. Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
Vina, does that need planning board approval? Does it have to go to the planning board and be, so we want the second meeting in September, correct? Okay. So public hearing set for September 27th, 2022. That was 9 yeses.
Next is FR3, ordinance establishing a new Article 3 in Chapter 325 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Electric Vehicle Charging Stations. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. De Palma made the motion. Mrs. Walker made the second.
On a roll call for the approval of FR number 3, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli. Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
No.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses. Public hearing set for September 13th, 2022.
Next is FR4, ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing private sale and transfer of township-owned real property, more commonly referred to as Block 21001, Lot 4.11, to Vision Old Bridge for Urban Renewal Entity, LLC, pursuant to NJSA 4A:12-13C and NJSA 4A:12A-8. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
We need second? Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Okay. So Mr. De Palma made the motion. Mr. Pescetti made the second.
On the approval of FR number 4, roll call. Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia,
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli,
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy,
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti,
Yes.
Councilperson Walker,
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
9 yeses, and public hearing will be set for September 13th, 2022.
Okay, next will be our consent agenda. I'd like a motion and a second, and then I'll ask for separations from the council.
Move it.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Walker and second by Dr. Greenberg Belli. And now we'll go to council separations, please.
Council President, Councilman Desai? Do you want any items for separation?
No.
He said no.
Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes, C18 and C24.
Councilperson Murphy, any separation?
Not at this time.
Councilperson De Palma?
No, thank you.
Council President, any separation?
You got everybody? I don't know.
Councilperson Walker? Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
No.
Councilperson Garcia?
None, thank you.
Councilperson Pasquitti?
C2, please.
C2. Okay.
Okay, so we'll take a roll call on the balance, please.
Of
Yep.
the consent agenda, taking away item number C2, C18, and C24. Roll call from Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Abstain.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
That's 8 yeses, 1 abstention.
Okay, next will be C2, Mrs. DeCaro.
That's mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was Tony. C2
It was
was
Tony.
Tony.
I'm sorry, I apologize, Tony.
Yeah, I have a personal philosophy with the electric cars. I just feel, look, the state for the last 15 years has used liquid gas for the commuter buses, and it's been working great. And that is, comes out of the ground, and we have hundreds and hundreds of years worth of that in the ground. Electric has to be generated. You have to generate electricity. How you generate electricity is either you use coal or oil or liquid gas to generate the electricity to charge the car, and then the car runs around. So I just think that we're going in the wrong direction. I know the whole country is going in that direction, but I think we need some critical thinking here. So I separated C2 because I feel that we shouldn't be spending any money until we know everything about this, because we have a lot of questions. So I will be voting no.
Anyone else on C2? Mrs. Belli?
I would have to say that I understand and I agree with what you're saying, and it's very strange what's happening in our country with these electric cars. But I'm also realistic that if someone comes to town and they have an electric car, and if their car needs to be charged and they're going to stay there overnight and get towed to an electric station, that's what this government is creating. And we see it all the time, like just this past winter on 95 South in Virginia, where all those cars were stuck on the road for days. Now, they had gas. You can bring gas to them. You're not bringing an electric charging station to them. I mean, this is just insane, to tell you the truth. And so I understand that you have to provide for the residents and have this, but if we are going to do that, I want to make sure that we get our money back. And that's the main thing. If we're getting our money back and they want to fall into this thing and they're not sensible enough to charge their car at home and only go the distance it allows you, if they fell into that and have an electric car, it's on them. It's not on me, and it's not on all of us. So if we're putting this in to satisfy that we don't have a parking lot with people that get electric cars and run out of electricity in our parking lot, I get it, but I want to make sure that they're going to be paying for it. And I want to know how
This is
this is going to work.
authorizing
I believe we did.
$46,000 of taxpayer money to build it. And this is the
But
first step.
Let me explain. I believe, Casey, correct me wrong, but we did establish the fee that we're going to be charging when somebody uses this. So it isn't free services. A lot of money we had, there is a lot of grant that we're receiving to build this, help us build. And as much as we want maybe hydrogen running cars, we don't have that. This is what we have. And our residents, a lot of residents uses the electric, vehicles. And so I think it's appropriate to provide that service. And I agree, we're not offering free services, free charging. So it's going to be a fee associated. Did we introduce the ordinance? Yeah, the council introduced the ordinance, established the fee, which is what they're going to be paying on that. And so we'll have a recovery. It isn't money-making business. We're not into that. We're only doing few. But I think it's a good service to offer to residents.
So I'm curious also, how many cars does it take to get back $46,000? Would you say?
Yeah, Casey will give you more.
I mean, these are things that you have to think about. And I would like to add one other thing, because I always forget things as they pop in my head, so I got to say them as they come, sorry. But also, how long, we've talked about before how long it takes to charge a car. So we have one electric station. There's 2 cars. They're going to sit there for 8 hours while one car charges for 4 hours, and then the fight began.
This service is not designed to have a pool charging. It is to get them, if they're
out of here
quickly, 1 hour, 2 hours, get the charge done, and the rate goes up if they stay longer. Obviously, we will not remove it, but they will be paying a lot more money. So this is designed for a short, quick charge. Get yourself, if you are short on your charge. When electric vehicle charging station is installed, they are published on a national listing. So if somebody's driving by, he needs to charge, stop by, spend half an hour to get some charge. A lot of people has home charging. They just need a quick. If somebody's living in town, he's going to be short. He goes there, gets a charge, and then go home, maybe in a half an hour and go home. These are all different possibilities that will offer this service, and that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, let me just...
No, I understand that, like I said, a lot of people don't understand when we do have to take things into consideration. We have to think of every scenario and every situation. But I just have to bring out sometimes, and I understand we're most likely going to do this, and the reasoning for it, I just need always more information about it. And I always like to just say that sometimes some of these things are a little bit lunacy, what's going on, and we're now involved in these things. And I would be remiss if I didn't say or state my opinion on this. And listen, everyone's entitled. You want an electric car? You should have an electric car. I don't want anyone stuck anywhere, and I want people safe and being able to get home. But I also don't want to put out money that we're not going to be able to recoup, because that's not fair to anybody. And even when it's a grant, that grant is somebody's money, so, and it's taxpayers' money. So I just really just always like more information. Thank you.
Before you continue, I have council people who want to speak, okay? So, Mr. Murphy?
The reason I abstained, I spoke to 3 or 4 of the fire companies. If they catch fire, they take about 11 hours to put out. They have seen them explode. I should have voted no, I shouldn't have abstained. But it takes a long time, and they do explode when that happens. So that's what I said, and I should have voted no. Thank you.
Sister Carol, want to speak? And then I'll...
Yeah, I just wanted to say, yes, this is the direction that we are moving, and, electricity is a renewable resource, it won't ever run out, it's renewable. And, just like we have to stop.
They said that about water.
Mr. Murphy, just let Mrs. DeCaro speak, please.
Thank you. Just like we have to stop and fill up our gas tank, we have to stop, people have to stop and charge their car. It's the same concept. And right now it's very new and a lot of people don't understand it. And, and I understand being a little leery of it, because it's new. But I think that it is the right way to go, and I think that we need to, it benefits our residents. It benefits the families of our residents that come, maybe someone that's visiting. I know my brother has an electric car. I don't, and I don't have a charging station at my house. So if he lives 2 hours away, he's got a great charging station. He's got a Tesla that runs for forever. But if he was in a jam, he could stop and use this. And of course, it's paying. Yes, he would have to pay for it. It's not a free service. We approve a lot of tax dollars here in this council chamber. This council room was redone, and we spent money on that. This doesn't benefit any taxpayer. It doesn't benefit the residents. It benefits, it doesn't. The regular person is not getting benefited from this, what's going on right in here right now. But they will have benefit from an electric charging station. And, you're smiling and you're laughing, but, I'm just saying, you can make that, my point is you can make that argument with anything. That's what I mean.
All right, thank you. Mr. Desai.
I think it is obvious when you go and charge the electrical vehicle in a business establishment, they charge the money. So, and we have to base our fee based upon that. But I'm questioning you one other thing. All EV cars has not the same charging system. If you see, the Tesla is unique. Mercedes has a different. BMW has a different. But Tesla is completely unique. So you have to have 2 different or 3 different charging cables.
We're offering a universal charging station. The different car owner will have to have an adapter to that universal charging. So we cannot establish a charging station for every different vehicle's need. But universal charging station, there are standards created by them, and then manufacturers will provide adapter to different manufacturers.
I'm sure in future it will come because the day is coming. But right now, system is not there. If you have a Mercedes, you have to have a different system. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. De Palma.
I could let Casey.
You'll defer to Casey. Okay, anyone else before? No? Mayor.
After the council makes all the, I'd just like to make one comment. If the council could finish, if you have anything to say, I just want to.
All right, so Casey, go right ahead. Thank you.
Hello, council. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak on this. So when electric cars first started to appear on the market, I kind of thought it was like the next DeLorean. They'd be a one-hit wonder, be a movie about them, and they would disappear. But they took traction, and then I started to pay a little bit more attention to them, and they do have their place in the market. I'm not sold on it yet. I don't own one. Maybe one day. But a couple comments were made. I do think that the township should take advantage of the grants that we were able to obtain and purchase the charging stations and provide that ability for passerbyers or township residents to utilize these charging stations. The one thing that the number looks large, it's $46,000. A lot of that money is grant money, but because of the purchasing laws, which finance schooled me on, we still have to follow all the procedures and get approval because we're over the $44,000 mark. So a lot of this majority of the money is grant money. We are, contributing some towards the installation of the chargers, but it's going to provide that opportunity for everybody who travels through Old Bridge to utilize them. So if you have any other questions about it, feel free to ask me. We do utilize the J1772 plug, which is the standard plug. There are adapters that come with vehicles if you have something that doesn't work with this unit.
Do you have insurance on them? For example, I know at gas stations, people put the gas, the hose in their car and they drive off, so then it breaks. So, or some people can run into it. So is that going to be protected with an insurance policy?
Absolutely. So that point was brought up at the last council meeting. We reached out to our insurance company. They're making sure that all the paperwork's properly filed and dedicated. If there was something to happen to it, then we would be covered.
Was there an increase in our payments to the insurance company to cover that?
No, there was not. We have a blanket policy because the township's so large, so it just kind of gets absorbed into it.
Just the only thing I would have to say is that I support this. I think it's an amenity for the folks that are in our town as well as the folks that are traveling through our town. It's not free, right? Even though we are paying for it, that money will be recuperated over time. I think it's something that we have to start to plan for. I spoke about this when I first came on council. Unfortunately, I spoke about it when gas was $0 a gallon at that day, but I think it is something that we need to start to plan for, things that we start to have. If you go to the surrounding towns, there are charging stations. You don't want to be the last one to any game. This is something that you drive around. I drive around my ward. I drive around the town. There are folks in our township that have electric cars, so folks will utilize it, right? They're not going to get anything for free. They're going to pay for it, which is why we took the liberty last time and we set rates. So no one's going to get this for free. A lot of this is grant money. The rest of that money will start to come back. So I support this.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, you had one more question?
Yes, my main concern is safety. Have you talked to the fire company that it takes 10 to 11 hours to put these out? And firemen have gotten hurt. That's the safety issue. And it's blown up and hurting civilians. I cannot support this because they're not even aware of what's going on here. If you want to talk to the fire companies, they shouldn't have to be there 10 to 11 hours to try to put out a fire. Okay, thank you.
All right, now everyone has.
I just want to add one thing. Why is it the government's responsibility to do this? I mean, the businesses are doing it, right? So you go around, there are charging stations here and there, right? Why is the government, why are we growing our government? Every time you turn around, we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually, going to have to raise taxes. I mean, you can't do things without money, right? So I'm just saying, look, you have to be cognizant of the fact that we can't keep growing our local government. All right, thank you.
And we count. You said you wanted to speak.
Yes, Council, I just want to just bring to your attention, we support small businesses. There was a few minutes ago. And a lot of the small businesses that don't have the option to work remotely, and I'm talking about the service industry, where they're salesmen, they're foremans, they need to be on the road. And a lot of my personal friends that have small businesses and can't afford, $4.50 a gallon for gas or a few $100s a day to put their people on the road, I think we need to be cognizant of that small business owner who has gone to an electric model to stay in business. How many gasoline trucks are now parked because they can't afford to run them? They are purchasing electric vehicles now. So these small businesses, and if you go to Inverness, you will see a small business truck parked there, and he's on his laptop doing his sales, whatever he's doing for that day, and then whatever he needs another hour, whether it's his lunch or it's break time, then he's on the road again. So I don't see this as being doing a favor for anyone. It's really what the small business, I think, is leading the charge. I think that's why the state and federal government has taken an initiative to have these. We can all say that the grid won't support everyone electric car, but currently, right now, there are businesses that are depending on these charging stations. So as we continue to support small businesses, I think that we should move forward with a number of charging stations where they can charge their vehicles. I think it's consistent with what our philosophy has been.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Everyone is good now?
Just one last thing. I agree with you, Mayor, wholeheartedly. And I agree when we vote, we have to vote for the whole town. But you said a key thing, and it's really sad what the federal government has done to the small businesses, having $4.50 or more a gallon and forcing people into this thing with electric cars. Electric cars are here to stay. And actually, if you think about it, Ford had electric cars really back in the 1930s. So listen, it's innovation. Things are moving forward. It may not be something that I believe in wholeheartedly, but I don't want to see 10, if you need one, I don't want someone stuck and not being able to get, through town. So I'm voting it for that reason only, but it's not really what is sensible in any way to arrive at this decision. I am supporting the residents or the people going through town. I want everyone to be safe. Everything that I vote on is really keeping safety in mind, and you have to be reasonable and sensible. So if we're getting the money back, then I can support it. And the whole thing is, everyone has to think long and hard what the government is pushing everyone to do. And as you go to the pump and get $450, and I also want to say, during Sandy, none of us, if we had an electric car, were going anywhere, okay? And when you go to a gas station, you could fill up your car in maybe 10 minutes and be on your nice way. But like I said, we will have an electric station because I don't want people not being able, when you have people come to visit, when you have people coming through town, if they're at the library or wherever that, I want them to get here safely and I want them to get home safely. Thank you.
All right, so I will ask for a motion
I'll move it.
and a second.
Second.
Okay, so moved by Mr. De Palma. I'm sorry? Oh, what it is? Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
On a motion by Councilperson De Palma, second by Councilperson DeCaro, to approve item number C2 on the consent agenda, authorizing ESCNJ cooperative purchasing under contract number 65 MCE SCCPS-18/19-40 for the purchase and installation of electric vehicle charging stations at the municipal complex and Westminster parking lot from Timothy B. Bryan Electric Company, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $46,110.65.
Thank you.
All right, so we had a motion by Mr. De Palma, a second by Mrs. DeCaro, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Is he away from the dais?
Off dais, okay.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
No.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
No.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next will be C18, Mrs. DeCaro. Then thank you very much, Casey.
Yeah, just a real quick question. So this is a resolution for funding from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for recreation opportunities for individuals with disabilities grant. And I was just curious if this was going to be, what this was going to be used for. Is this going to go towards Camp Robin and things like that? Yes?
Primarily, yes.
Primarily Camp Robin? Okay, good.
Yes.
Did we get a motion?
Did you make a motion? Okay.
John moved it. Okay. Councilperson Murphy.
Just want to make sure we
made
want
the
to.
motion. Can we get a second?
Second.
Okay.
Was Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli. Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli. Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
9 yeses.
Next will be C24, Mrs. DeCaro.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to acknowledge this. I was thrilled that we were able to do, for the town, we were able to do for Mr. Mazzella when his son Scott had mentioned it to me, that's what they wanted to do. And then I reached out to you, Council President, and, it just got done so nicely. And, I was just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Mazzella and, how he has a street sign now being recognized. So he's, and I know they're selling the house now. Mr. Mazzella had passed away and they are selling the house, so he'll forever be remembered on that street. And I just wanted to, say it out loud and make sure that that got recognized.
Okay, anyone else? Did anyone else have any comment? No? Okay.
Move it.
Okay,
Motion by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second.
Second.
Who second?
Mrs. Walker.
Councilperson Walker. Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli. Yes. Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker. Yes. Council President Sohar.
Yes, it was a beautiful ceremony, and Mr. Mazzella will be greatly missed in the community. He was a big advocate and volunteer in our community. Okay, now can we have a public go ahead of our
Discussion.
yeah, our discussion? It's going to be way long. So can we have? Okay.
They want to know if they can change the order of the agenda and just have public speak, right? It's a long time for those discussion items.
Okay, so we're going to go a little off of the agenda, and we're going to instead do our public comment first, because this way we'll have people come up and speak rather than make you wait until all throughout the discussion portion. And we just want to make sure that, we don't keep you all night long, So we're going to do the public portion now. So do you have anyone that signed up to speak, or is there anyone? It's okay. No, it's fine. Whoever first, sure, come right up. No,
Right here.
no,
Just do me
no
a favor, and
worries.
if you could just sign, and make sure when you sit down, you speak clearly into the microphone. But just sign over there. Yes, please. It doesn't matter, either one.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Thank you for having us.
Green light on, please, sir.
Can you hear me? Great.
Yes. And your name?
My name is Victor Tuari. I'm a resident of Old Bridge. I've been a resident for 43 years. I represent a number of people in my neighborhood called the Arbors Coalition Community. And we wanted to bring and highlight to your attention and help, really. We're coming to you for help, that we have a unique...
Stop.
Sorry.
Thank you for coming.
I want a recall.
Have a good night.
Just turn it off, guys. Just turn it off. Do you have a phone? Just keep track of it on the phone.
Okay, good to go. All right, thank
Sorry.
you. Really what we wanted to do is to highlight an issue that we have in our neighborhood. It's a progressive issue that's been getting worse and worse over the years. And we have a unique situation. In our neighborhood, we have basically a quarter mile to a third of a mile strip in our neighborhood that is almost like a raceway. I know Raceway Park closed down a while ago, but it looks like it's been reenacted at times in our neighborhood, where we have people speeding through our neighborhood. We sit literally a stone's throw away. We're in the Arbors, literally right behind the tennis courts and the library. When I was a kid in McDivitt, I went to McDivitt, I went to Sandburg, I went to Cedar Ridge before that. We never really had that huge issue. Once in a while you did. It's been progressively getting worse. And what we wanted to request was that we're asking for a traffic calming program to be looked into in our neighborhood. What we have here is we have a need for your help to really enact this traffic calming program that other neighborhoods have had, that we've researched, that we're able to go through. We're a group here that we're happy to partner with you. We're happy to do some of the heavy lifting and the grunt work, getting the petitions, getting the individuals, but we need solutions from yourselves. We don't want to suggest solutions. There have been proposals of speed humps, speed bumps, those riveted strips and things of that nature. Even Asbury Park put in a circle where they had this issue. We're not the engineers. We're really looking for your request. We live in a school zone. We have kids, young kids. I just have a 2-year-old who, I don't even live on Phillips. I live a little bit of ways, but my son keeps wanting to go to the stop sign and go stop, which is right at Phillips Drive, and he wants to go across around. So we're really requesting a traffic calming program that can actually give us a more long-term solution to effectively reduce and control the speeding that is currently getting out of hand on Route 9. We appreciate what's been done so far, I think, by the mayor and others as well. That road has just been paved. PSE&G has just put in new gas lines. They repaved that. I understand that the Township did the Phillips Drive. PSE&G foots the bill for the rest. It looks beautiful, but it's actually even made it worse because people can go faster. We appreciate the 25-mile-an-hour signs and the signages that have been put up. But the point here is we're requesting a traffic calming program. We have a school zone. We want to raise this so, God forbid, we have individuals that get hurt, or God forbid, even worse, we have little kids. We need a more permanent solution. The signage that's been put up, and sometimes we have radar machines, they're temporary. Once they go away, and the signage itself is not a long-term solution, we're looking to partner with you and request for some solution, and maybe motion this for your next council meeting or whenever that would be. And again, we want to partner with you. Like I said, there's a couple other people that'll be speaking. There's 8 of us here tonight, and there's a roughly growing, yeah. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Make sure you
I'll
sign
sign
for
it.
me.
Thank you very much.
Come up and speak.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would just like to first say thank you to all of you for your service. I don't imagine that you've
Can we
done
have,
a lot.
not to interrupt, can we have your
Oh,
name?
sure.
Yeah, for the
I'm
record.
happy to talk, don't worry. My name is Diana DeBrizzi. I live at 127 Phillips Drive, and I am also part of the Arbors Community Coalition. The reason I'm obviously here to speak tonight is because of the speeding. I live at the intersection of Greenwood and Phillips, which is 2 houses in off of Cottrell Road. The speeding that is going on, because what happens is when people come around the bend from Phillips, they have to accelerate to come up Phillips to get out onto Cottrell. I've had 2 incidents. One, someone came flying up and he wasn't clear to make his turn and ended up in my driveway. Thankfully, I have 4 cars in my house. My 2 boys were out, so when the car came up, it didn't hit them. So that happened recently. 2 weeks ago, my neighbor has a small child. He's 5 years old. Now, just picture this in your mind. He's playing basketball next door to me. Their house is 1 house in Cottrell Road. The basketball goes out into the street. A school bus from the summer camp, literally at high speed, came around, up and around Phillips. The ball went into the street, got caught under the bus, bouncing out into Cottrell Road because the bus driver came around too fast, and the kid, thankfully, his mom grabbed him and stopped him from going to the street. We're here, our team, to plead with you to please help us do something to control the issues that are going on. For me personally, I'd like to ask if it's possible at the corner of Phillips and Greenwood, there's a stop sign. No one stops there. I have almost gotten hit backing out of my driveway. The other day, my son was literally turning into the driveway coming from work, and they came out of Greenwood at a high rate of speed. It's our neighbors as well that are a problem here. It's not just, it's everybody. And she didn't stop, and she almost T-boned him. I'm wondering, because that stop sign is right next to a pole, if maybe they put the big letters STOP on the ground there, painted to bring more attention to it, that might help. I'm living in that house 27 years. I have never come to you guys for anything, but this has become such a problem that I had to come out and speak to you about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, sorry.
Good evening, how are you?
Hello. I'm
Just
Catherine.
make sure you got a green light. Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It takes the attention off me, that's fine. I will be quick. My name is Catherine Bach. I live on Phillips Drive. Okay. I'm Catherine Bach. I live on Phillips Drive. We've only been there a few years, so I don't know the history, and I just know that I have small children and the cars fly down the street, especially school buses. I stand out there and I watch parents and staff turning into McDivitt. So it isn't just people using us as a pass-through, it's people from McDivitt as well. So I would like this to just be recognized. There are children in that community. We walk to school in the morning and home in the afternoon. Now I do know that at I believe it was 2019, there was an ordinance by Mayor Henry for a targeted enforcement area. So we have our signs up. I remember when those signs went up, but that was the end of it. And I think it's known that nobody's around to enforce it. I am constantly standing out there with my children, and there are not police officers around, and I understand that we have a shortage. That's what I'm told. If not, then there's really no excuse. But really, I mean, everybody knows it's just a sign. Nobody reads it because nobody's around to catch them speeding. And I'm constantly out there shaking my fist at people and sometimes shaking more. And now I'm using the crosswalks just to make a point so that cars have to slow down because there's someone in the crosswalk. But we do need, I understand that it has become part of this program, the designated target enforcement area, but has anything been done? I know that Mayor Henry was going to look at it, look at the data after a year, but I haven't heard any updates, so I'm not sure what's going on. But we really do need a presence there to enforce it, because the sign at the beginning and the end of Phillips, it's not doing the job. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
And letting us know. No, thank you. All right, who else is next would like to come and speak? Okay. Good evening, how are you?
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, it's great. Hi, I'm Maria Capello. I live at 103 Phillips Drive. I'll make mine quick, but it is the same thing. I have grandchildren, and the number of times getting out with the grandchildren in the car, cars coming by, almost hitting us. And the accidents are 9. We all know the problems. The accidents are 9. So now they cut through, they get agitated because now they can't get out of Phillips Drive to turn left on Cottrell Road. So everything is backed up, and now everybody gets agitated. We live there. So if we're coming back from someplace, we can't get into our driveways, they start cursing us out. I have the kids in the car. It's an ongoing thing. We really need something done, please. Thank you.
Okay. And who's next to come up and speak? Anyone else? Okay. Okay, so then if everyone's okay, then up this way. Thank you. Good evening. Okay. Yeah, we do one at a time, please. That's all. You could sit right there. Yeah, just sit. Yeah, that's all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Teresa Serrato, and I'm here on behalf of the Rambling Knolls Association. We have been experiencing over the past month or so disruptive behavior by a new neighbor that's off of Disbrow Road. Our development backs up to Disbrow Road, and the new neighbor has had extremely large parties that have impeded on our neighborhood with their cars and friends and trash afterwards. Fireworks go off at all hours of the night. There's music, very loud music during the day and in the evening that is disrupting people when they work during the day. We've also witnessed, burning of trees that, the complaints that our board is receiving because of this is I think something happened. folks are very upset about what's going on, and we don't know what else to do. We have called the police on several occasions to try and fix this matter, but we feel that our hands are tied at this time.
Well, thank you for coming
you.
and making us aware.
Thank you. I hope you can help us.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
Council President?
Oh, yes.
I was there the other day. I spoke with Rich, your neighbor. What's her name, Teresa? I spoke with Rich the other day, your neighbor. He gave me pretty much the whole spiel as to what's going on over there. And we came to the conclusion, at least part of it, was to get a fence. And I know a fence is expensive. I don't know how else we can take away from that neighbor, because that neighbor's he's not going to stop. I don't believe he's going to stop. It's not easy, and I get all that. I apologize for that. And the conclusion was just maybe get a fence and keep it right down the middle where they can't come up to it. They can't park on the grass. That's part of your problem, I'm sure. I know there's more than that. I get all that, the loud music and everything else. And I'm sure the police have been there. I'm sure they've gotten summonses. And fortunately, if you hit them in the pocket, maybe that will stop everything. I don't know. But they're not going to, I feel they're not going to listen.
No, and it's also I mean, as you come in off of, Amboy onto Disbrow, when you come in off of Amboy onto Disbrow, their house, I mean, it's a mess. It makes our community look terrible. And, I've been a resident. My time? Okay, thank you.
Well, if I can help you going forward, by all means, give me a call. I did speak with Rich.
Okay, Mrs. Walker, you have something to say before?
So I agree with them. I live in that area, and I endure what you're enduring. It's been horrific for a month now, all day long. Music is so loud. I feel like they're in my yard. And I smell the wood burning, fireworks going off at 1 a.m. And I know you guys are really getting it a lot worse. I had a lot of complaints from your neighbors. And also, they are taking over the Rambling Knolls property that they own. They've gone over and said, you're on our property. They refuse to move. They set up a TV, blow-up movie screen, and they refuse to move it. But even during the day, I think people should have some protection from noise, because they should be able to enjoy their homes as well. And a lot of the people are working from home, and this music is going on in the day, but it continues all day into the night, and these parties are every day. And the one day I'd gotten all the complaints from them that they had parked in their development in private parking spaces as well, and the cars were there for several days.
You can come up. You wish to speak? Good evening.
This is Christine Cartwright. I live on Knoll Court as well. It's a problem. It's loud. They're rude. We've
Speak
tried
into the mic.
We've
Thank you.
tried to communicate with them. You can't. They've impeded on our property. My concern is they've got bouncy houses, large bouncy houses, movie screens. They now have tiki torches. They're on our property. If somebody falls and breaks their neck, that's Rambling Knolls property. That property was deeded to us by Old Bridge. That's my concern. The noise, they cut down trees. They physically move the cut trees and limbs to our property. I've had to drag them back onto their property. I mean, how do people live? I don't understand. I don't know how many times you can call the police. What's the repercussion?
I think when you call the police do respond. And I think.
But how many times?
Well, I think with each violation, the fine augments. And if they can afford all these fines, I think there's going to be a point of stopping. It is not, everyone needs to, and everyone deserves to live in peace. So I know that people are committed to resolving this problem and finding out what is going on, and your land does have to be protected. So it won't end here. And I appreciate someone coming from that community and coming and speaking out and bringing this problem to us, just like the people in the arbors. We're going to address that. But I feel bad, like, listen, everyone, when you live in a neighborhood, you have to be a good neighbor. Everyone.
I get it. And
Yeah.
when they had the first party, we let it go. We
Sure.
thought it was one and done. We all have parties. We all make noise sometimes. They brought at least 30 cars in our development. Ours is at one in, one out.
Yeah.
We don't have 30 spots for our residents. We forgot about it. And then it just blossomed and it just kept snowballing, more and more problems.
I'm
They
sorry,
have
ma'am, but
lights.
that's your time.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for
I
sharing.
hope that we could look into this, because now they have tiki torches on the front porch that are burning unattended as well.
All right. Well, thank you for coming and making us aware of the situation. Is there anyone else in the public that wishes to be heard this evening? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion. Next, we're going to go into our discussion items. The first one is going to be promoting volunteerism. But we're already here. Oh, my God. Okay, Himanshu, are you the one covering this one?
Yeah, I can start. I know we had met sometimes back to see how we can help, promote and see we can get more people to volunteer different services. We have some great volunteer services available to residents. There's a lot of volunteers serving us that helps us provide a lot of important service to the community, but it's been diminishing with particularly after COVID. We have seen a lot of drop in volunteers coming forward, even the employment issue. So Councilman Walker, Councilman Greenberg-Pelley, Mayor, myself, and Council President were met, and we are exploring different areas where we can offer incentive to people to volunteer. For example, we're exploring providing access to our recreation facility at either discounted rate or no fees if there are active volunteer for fire department or first aid or the CERT or OEM. And I think that right now I have asked all department to see which services that we can offer, because we have to also comply with the statutes to make sure that we are not, offering service or not charging fees that we don't have authority. For example, we're not going to be able to waive fees that we charge and we deliver to the state. So there are fees. So we'll have to do that. We also have a lot of volunteers, animal shelter also, and so it's we're exploring at the administration level. I have asked all department to put together a plan, but I think that's the concept right now, and I think that I know you had a lot of other ideas that you want to put forward. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the update. We just want to make sure people always know that we put the volunteers at the forefront, all of us. And if anyone has any more suggestions, just email Mr. Shaw, and we'll see what we can incorporate. So really, thank you for keeping up with that. It's very important. Thank you so much.
So much.
The next one is speeding through town. Good evening. Good evening. I'd like to thank all of you for being here this evening.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Council President. You've heard me in the past with the emails, and I've mentioned to you Sergeant Mataconis. So just to prove that he does exist, Sergeant Mataconis.
He's for real.
He's real. He heads up our traffic and safety unit. We've heard the concerns from the Arbor's development. It's not just the Arbor's development. It's all throughout town. And one of the comments the gentleman had said that it's gotten progressively worse over the years. The state of New Jersey has gotten bigger as people move away from New York City, the more urban areas of northern New Jersey. They move out to our neighborhoods, things along those lines. With that, more vehicles on the road, younger drivers, the advent of the GPS and the Waze apps and everything like that. When somebody goes to their phone and they see traffic on Route 9 is bad, and as they said, we have bad accidents on 9. It shuts the whole area down. People are looking for those cut-throughs, and Phillips Drive, unfortunately, is one of those cut-throughs. So, aware of these issues. They just had their areas redone with the paving from PSE&G. As one of the, I'm going to jest here, as one of those traffic calming measures, we can put the potholes back. I'd say that, so one of the things that, when it comes to traffic, there's 3 E's. There's engineering, which is Nicole's area. There's education, which starts with the parents setting the example, being good, respectful drivers. And then there's the enforcement side of it, and that's us, the police department. So that's, the part of that we could talk to. The specifics, Aaron is here to speak to that stuff.
Good evening. There's a few devices or tactics we use to calm traffic. First of them, everybody knows, is that patrol car sitting on a corner and everyone drives by and hits the brakes. At times when we don't have an officer available or we're needed elsewhere, what we do is we employ speed trailers. We've all seen them. We call them speed trailers, radar trailers. They display your speed. Basically what it is, it's a radar unit in a trailer, and you drive by, it shows your speed. Everyone goes, oh, okay, I'm going either fast or slow. Message boards are another system we use. It's the same thing. There are message boards that will display your speed. We have a total of 4 that we use. What we do is when you get a complaint about speeding, like the arbors we just heard tonight, what we'll do is we'll take one of these pieces of equipment, we'll deploy it in a problem area where the complaints are. We also create what's called the CAD number. Every complaint that my unit gets, the traffic unit gets, we create a case number on it. So we can always go back and say, hey, what did you guys do about this? Well, we did this. We deployed a radar trailer. What we do with the radar trailer then is once it's out there about 7-10 days, we'll bring it back in. What we call, we'll dump the data, or we'll analyze the data, and it will give us high speed, low speed, 85 percentile speed, and the average speed. So then we'll take that and say, okay, let's send a car out there. Once that trailer's gone, that's when those black unmarked cars come in. And then we do go out there. If it is an area, we will enforce the law and speed. We're not going to write you a summons for doing 26 miles an hour and a 25. However, we will go out there and we will issue summonses. We do not target our residents. We do not target anybody specifically, and we do not do this to make money. We do it to educate and enforce the laws of this town and the state. So if you want us in an area and one of your residents calls us, my unit will be happy to go out there. But be cautioned, we will write tickets and we will write a lot. So we have 0 tolerance for these type of complaints that these nice people are experiencing. Phillips Drive, we did not have any message boards out there or radar trailers because they're milling and paving and doing curb. Guess what's going to happen to our equipment? You'll be buying us new stuff because it's going to get wrecked during construction. But now that we know this, you can have my word, you'll see those black cars.
Right. Is there anything now, Mrs. Shapiro, to add, please?
I hate to go after Sergeant Manaconis, but so I just want to reiterate that, it's a team effort. The police department, Sergeant Manaconis is in our office quite often, if not, 2-3 times a week. When he deploys those trailers, he runs through that data and he gives us a summary report of that. More recently, we've looked at, incidentally, tonight's consent agenda, tonight's first reading for Woodhaven Boulevard is one of those complaints of speeding and stuff going on Woodhaven Boulevard and some of the residential areas within there. However, know that there's a performance guarantee on Woodhaven Boulevard, so it's considered private property until it's turned over, and it's not going to be turned over for quite some time, and that's why we requested the developer to come in and request Title 39 jurisdiction so we can monitor the situation out there. So the Woodhaven, obviously Phillips Drive, we heard it tonight. Sergeant Manaconis was waiting until we got out of the way because we're resurfacing out there, we're striping. That was township contractors doing that work. PSE&G did upgrade their facilities there. They're going to be back on the side streets, coming back and doing some more work there, and then they're going to resurface some more in there. So obviously the speed's going to pick up. What I heard tonight was ways to introduce traffic calming measures. On public roadways, it's hard for us to do that. The rumble strips, the bumps, the humps, they don't survive the winter months. They don't survive the salting, the maintenance, and they're not good for our emergency personnel. We don't want that response time to be hampered. We don't want the vehicles, they don't, a fire truck coming down, not knowing that there's a bump or a hump, or even knowing and slowing down for that's an issue that we have to, overcome. What I liked is Councilman Garcia before said, hit him in the pocket. That's where you get them. You can't engineer somebody's mindset. If they're going to speed, they will speed. But what happens is if you ticket them and you hit them in their pockets, that's what hurts the most. That's what they remember, not the bumps and the humps. They find a ways, when somebody's not parked on the side, they go around those bumps and those humps. They go around the rumble strips, and then they're closer to the homes. That's not what we want to do. So I believe Sergeant Manaconis when he says he's going to be out there. I know that they provided radar on Phillips Drive. That's not the only one they did. They did a speed study on Press Mills Road, on Oakland Road, on Valley Vale Road. Oakland Road is another one. One of our residents had suggested, it's meant to be a collector road. It's meant for cut-through traffic. It's meant as an alternate way to get residents in and out of that neighborhood. And when we looked at the speed on that, and we determined the average, and we determined the 85th percentile, we didn't determine that there was a speeding issue. One or two of those vehicles out of, let's say, the CAD file, or out of that, sequence of the normal, let's say 25 to 32, 33 miles per hour, that anomaly is not an issue. It is somebody speeding. But Sergeant Manaconis and the traffic group in our police department are out there monitoring the situation. So although you don't see a marked car out there, their cars are out there, and they're in stealth mode. I hate that you said black. I don't like that. I don't like that we know the color.
Council President.
If people are going to.
I just want to, just a couple of points. This issue about the speeding and the request for traffic calming devices, this is not a first time. My 29 years tenure, this is about 3 or 4 times public. But we haven't, the fire, first aid, police, public works, they all have, particularly fire has opposed, because, when they are trying to reach to a fire location, and if they have to jump over all these bumps they're going to be delayed. If they delay a couple of minutes, you might have a whole different result at the location. So this has been requested, and I think we have explaining to these good folks that it might impact that. Comparing ourselves to a North Jersey town that's through 3 miles town, completely different. We are 42 square mile with thousands of miles of road to handle, and our emergency fire, first aid, they're located several areas of the town, about 6 areas of the town, but they still have, and right now with the first aid, we're hampering on our first aid people to have a response time in seconds, minutes. And if that grows, there could be a different result for somebody. So, we want to be careful. We do have a concern, and we agree with it. And it's not the Phillips Drive is not the only road where we have received this. There are other roads, and the police department is doing their best. One of the things we're working with the police department to come up with a program to increase some of those trailers, more trailers. There is different way of enforcement ideas because we still have to live in a limit of the budget. So we're coming up with we're exploring with the police department to see how we can, come up with where we start putting more, capital program for more trailers, more stop sign, blinking signs, and other signs on the road. There are stationary signs on the road we can install that just shows people speed limit that helps. So those were probably things. But as Nicole says, when police is there and they start writing summons, and it does calm down for a while and then it starts coming back again. It does happen. So we're going to have to be vigilant, come up with a program that we are out there more often, we're visible, people see the police, and then, it will slow down. But I don't think that we have, in all these times, every time, we haven't received support of the fire, the first aid, because they have, you can put in their life in the hand when they are traveling in that big vehicles and they got jump over one of those by mistake even, they could be flipping over. That's the concern that we need to keep that in mind when we are exploring these traffic calming devices, which is humps and bumps. The other issue is that when you put those bumps or humps, there's a lot of opposition from, I don't want that in front of my house. Because you hear all day that car jumping over that bumps. And people don't want that. And there's other area when one time they were exploring the negative. Some towns, particularly on the south, of the river, where, Middlesex County and some towns, right now reconsidering their installed location now, because they have a lot of complaints. And the same issue, first aid, fire, police, they're all concerned about that. And the maintenance is going to be a huge cost, because they are not going to last long, and they're going to have to rebuild a lot more often than a road repaving program. So, but that doesn't mean that we're ignoring the traffic in a speeding concern. We are actively pursuing and talking about it and see what we can come up with it.
Just to add to the business ministry said, we're out there quite a bit every day. The town's getting bigger. The roads with these warehouses we're going to be coming in, some of these expansion developments. Like Nicole said, the Woodhaven development is getting bigger. There's I believe the fourth phase of Woodhaven going further down Englishtown Road just before our border into Monroe. These areas, we're bringing in more people. There's more people in development south of us, west of us. So these people are coming through town. Our folks are out there extremely vigilant. We've written well over 4,000 summonses, of which 25% of those summonses were either careless driving or speeding. So we're out there. Our folks are doing a great job. We can't be everywhere all the time. We've deployed our speed trailers, radar trailers, I believe 17 times so far year to date. As soon as we get a complaint, we look at where we're getting these areas, the complaints from. We deploy those trailers there. As Sergeant Maniconis and Nicole alluded to, we analyze that data and we make a determination whether that's going to be a targeted enforcement area like they had done in the past. So these are things that we're looking with. We're working with administration to help our residents. And the thing is like the education I was saying earlier is that starts with the parents being good, safe drivers through driver education. And, those people who don't look at that, then at some point, like, Mr. Garcia said, is you got to start hitting them in the wallet. And it's not that our goal is to go out there and generate revenue through tickets. We really want the community to become safer. And if that requires us to issue a summons where you pay court costs, if your insurance goes up, well, hopefully you'll learn. And then when you do drive through neighborhoods like the Arbors, you do slow down and take into consideration your neighbors and the people who live there.
Well, we are now.
Oh, the loudmouth went on, I guess.
Okay, now it's back.
I think this one's the better one. I know that one of the comments that were made by the residents in the Arbors was that the bus drivers were speeding. And I think some of the parents that were picking up are also speeding as well. And what we could do is we could send an email to David Cittadino to remind his bus drivers to use caution, especially because they're in a heavy residential area. And why they would be speeding up that street, I don't know. And then also to send an email blast to the parents, especially when school starts. I know Sergeant Manaconis and I were talking about, deploying a speed trailer there, but we were waiting until school began because we want to get a true representation of what is going on there in a regular school year than to do it in the summer months when people are on vacation and there's a limited amount of school. Although I know that they do summer camp out of there, but I think it's coming to a close soon.
Yeah, but I think let's deploy as soon as possible the trailer.
First of all, I want to thank the residents for coming out and also the police department because I know that you are very concerned about public safety through all the town and very vigilant. And every time that we call, you respond. And what happens a lot of time when we do put the police there, what we find is the residents are getting tickets, okay? So that's the first thing, that if there's a homeowner association, they should be reached out. Just like you said with the buses, it's very disturbing. If you look at regular commercial buses, they have the signs or trucks, how am I driving? If you see buses, I would get the license plates numbers and they can track to who was driving at that time and they should get summonses, the school bus. That's outrageous, hey, with kids in a bus and you're speeding through there. We've invested a lot into the arbors. The road, the MUA did a project in that town, and also the utilities company. So, we do curbing road, and yes, when you make it nice, they do speed through. But, we want to make communities and neighborhoods nice, and there's no reason why you shouldn't have it. So I think another good thing to do is in different parts of the town, we put mandatory court appearance. So that might be if you're having it, if you get a ticket, it's not just pay the ticket and go on your merry way, that you have to appear in court. And I think that would be a deterrent too, because a lot of people don't like, taking the time to do that. So I think the buses, I think it's very disturbing to think that you have a child and you're speeding to school. I mean, seconds can change a life. We all know that. And getting there a few minutes faster, or even if you're a few minutes late, it's okay. But speeding is just not acceptable. So with the speed bumps, we've all talked about that. We know with the road department during the winter, if you have a plow, it's not acceptable. Emergency vehicles, not only that, people learn where the speed bumps are. So they slow down, and then as soon as they're over, they speed. So, they don't work. And in fact, in towns like Homedale and Colts Neck, they put them in, they've taken them out because they've caused so many problems. If you live near it with the noise. So just what you said as far as signage in the road, the blinking sign, I think mandatory court appearance would be a deterrent, and getting the names of these bus drivers, because anyone who puts their kids on a bus, you want to know that the bus is safe, that the bus driver's vigilant. And if you're traveling with kids, there's no reason, if you're a bus driver, you're not doing your due diligence and you're not practicing safety. And that's what you do when you take that job. That's why you get it. So I think there are a lot of different things that we can, investigate and do. And I think, collaboratively, if we all think about it, we'll come up with it. But I know that the police department will be on it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for speaking to us. Like 50 years ago, sorry to bring this up, but it's a true story. Mayor English lived on Throckmorton Lane, and people would just speed down that road all the time. So he got an officer to just sit there and write tickets. And the word got around town that if you speed on Throckmorton Lane, you're getting a ticket. And it solved the problem. I mean, it's just real basic, right? Enforcement. And look, I'm guilty too, man. My foot gets heavy too, rushing around. It's almost like what's going on in our country is like everybody's in a rush, but we really have to be concerned with safety. One child gets hurt bad or something like that, and then this room will be filled I think we should be proactive, get these targeted areas, get some enforcement going on, and give tickets. I think that's the solution because, when you do those reports, you look and you have these outliers. You got this one guy going 60 miles an hour in a 25 zone. That's the guy that needs to get the ticket. Because he gets a ticket or he gets 2 tickets, he ain't going to be speeding too much longer. I mean, that's what happens, right? And I thank you. Thank you for the work that you guys do. I appreciate it.
Okay, on this side, Mr. DePalma had said it, and then we'll do Mrs. DeCaro and Mr. Desai.
Yeah, and I think one of the residents probably put it best. It's the people in the neighborhoods as well, right? It's not just the folks that are cutting through, and I think sometimes the folks that are cutting through are probably not because they don't know where they're going. The folks that live in the neighborhoods kind of know where they are. They know where the stop sign really is, but they know they could just kind of blow past it. I mean, I think, we need to exhaust everything possible to see what we could do to help the residents. It's not just the Arbors, it's Disbrow, it's Lake Ridge West, it's Country Place. It's, I think you can name every development in this township, and there's a problem with folks rushing to get out, speeding through the areas, especially if they know the area well. And I think it's that, and I think folks have their heads down in their phones. They're not paying attention to the speeds that they're going or where they're going. But I think we do need to look at every and all possible way that we could slow folks down, make folks aware. I know, Nicole, you had said, rumble strips and things like that aren't necessarily the answer. And I know in Staten Island, my mother-in-law, they just installed a speed bump right in front of her house. I heard it for about 6 months that they would put it there. I was standing in front of her house. Someone was speeding up the block and actually caught air, which I was dumbfounded by. And her block is literally 300 yards, if it's 300 yards. So to get that to that amount of speed means they hit the corner and they punched it. But we do need to look at every and all. Our residents need to be safe. Our children need to be safe. Like folks said, we have, God forbid, one thing happened to one of our students that go to McDivitt. And my daughter goes to McDivitt, and she walks home sometimes with her friends that live in the Arbors. One thing happened to one of those students in any of our areas, right? This courtroom will be packed with folks asking, why haven't we done something? What are we doing to address? And, we need to keep this on top of mind, not only our officers who do a fabulous job in making sure that we're all safe, our engineers make sure that we're looking at everything and the administration looking at it. But, we also need to remind residents that this is where you live. Slow down, be safe. Don't be that person that is the cause of a family's grief because of what you've done.
Okay. Mrs. DeCaro, did you want to speak?
Yes, thank you. Again, thank you all for coming out. You know that this has been a big concern of mine, and I thank the Arbors Coalition for getting together and organizing and speaking so well. To your point, with everything. I think that what we need to do, and Sergeant Menaconis, thank you for your commitment to, getting out there with your black car and, really, is that I think what we need to do is a layered approach. I don't believe that there is one answer. I think it's a multi-level solution. And also I do appreciate, because I had mentioned Press Mill and the resident that had reached out to me did get back to me and said, that she noticed the radar speed trail, thank you, that you put there. And so she noticed. So good. But I do believe that, we need a multi-level, solution. I don't think one solution. I understand, your concerns about the speed bumps, the rumble strips, the speed humps, because it's a public road, because I know that they're on private roads. I've seen them there. And so I guess my question would be like, the fire trucks and EMTs got to go down there too. So have you ever noticed that being an issue with them going down the private? Because I know in your development, I know there's speed bumps in there, so.
I think the only one that have approached me was Whispering Pines on Rumble Strips. There was one development that had come, I'm not going to name the development, and they wanted the Rumble Strips. And at first they came and they wanted the humps. And I said, okay, here is a plan of your development. Show me where you would like the humps or the rumble strips. And they drew straight lines as to where. I said, come back to me with a sign off on each of the residents to say that they're okay with it in front of their homes.
Mm-hmm.
At dinner time, when you go over the rumble strips, it goes zip, 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 zip. Every time somebody comes home while you're eating dinner, that's what's going to happen. And then when you put, let's say, a speed bump, on either side of the bump, it's going to slope down, so you're not going to be able to park there. If that's in front of somebody's home, that's now impeding parking in front of their homes.
Okay, that's a good
right?
point.
So there's that, and then there's the maintenance aspect of it, and then there's the emergency personnel aspect of it. On private property, we cannot stop them. We could suggest it. And I believe on Whispering Pines, they put in the rumble strips, but I don't know if they even maintain them. I think they just let them fade away because it wasn't stopping the situation. To stop speeding in an engineering sort of way, you would almost have to do a road diet. When you have a road that's so wide, if you narrow that road down, that's how you stop the traffic, right? But again, you're introducing something. You're introducing sort of bump outs at the corners where you're pulling out your curb line and you're sort of, choking in. It becomes difficult now when you bring a plow down that roadway. You would have to then start delineating the edge of that curb line because they don't know that it jets out like that. So it's not an easy fix.
Right.
What I think, Councilman De Palma says is we all need to slow down. And I think, Councilman Pischetti said it too. We're all guilty of it. I live at the bottom of a hill. Sometimes you're not paying attention and you start, waking up as you're driving home saying, oh, I got to slow down a little bit. So I think an email to the school superintendent to remind the parents and the bus drivers, I think the enforcement, I think the speed trailers, I think the black car, I think in about a 6-month period we'll be in a different situation, or hopefully we'll have the coalition behind us reporting back to us and saying something is happening in a positive way on our neighborhood. Right. And that's the same iteration we take not only in the arbors, but in every, residential development. As Councilman De Palma says, they're not unique to the situation. They might experience it more because they're a cut through from Route 9 to Cottrell. Cottrell runs parallel. It gets you up to a state highway, so they might be more susceptible to it. But the speeding goes on throughout town,
No, absolutely. I don't know if it was, I know you talked about the blinking stop sign or the blinking, I know that I've also heard, she's not here tonight, but from someone on Phillips that was asking for actual stop signs, like right at Manny Martin Way and Phillips Drive, like where the school is. Is that possible?
To put it mid-block, because then that would be a T intersection, right, Manny?
I'm trying to remember, does Manny Martin Way come out to a T? Yeah.
It would be a T intersection there. I mean, it's not something that would be typically done. I mean, I could take a look. There would have to be like a warrant analysis done for a stop sign. So that would be a T intersection warrant analysis that we would have to perform.
Right.
I could look into it.
Okay, awesome. That's great. There was a couple other things. I think I got that. No, that was it. Oh, the other thing, the last thing was, so when you do that data dump for the, from the radars, I mean, I know, again, like Councilman Pischetti said, we're all guilty of speeding, right? Well, not me, no, I don't speed. But when you see that, you tend to slow down. So I'm just wondering, and what I'm worried about is when you get that data, is it truly accurate data? Because people already see and they're slowing down so that, because they're looking for that number, they want to make sure that they get, if that trailer is not there, they're flying still.
There's two ways you can answer that question. Number one is if they see the trailer, do they slow down or do they speed up? Some people say, well, let's see how fast I can go, just for games. However, there is a setting in the trailer that we do set where you can't get over a certain speed. We choose that speed based on the area, so you don't have people doing that. To answer your question, is it an accurate, true speed? Do we know? Not really, because if you see a police car parked there, you're going to go, you're going to hit your brakes. You see the trailer, you're going to hit the brakes. What we do notice in the trailer, though, is it will give us a representation of the ongoing speed Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, holidays, weekends. I can guarantee you we're going to give you the percentages.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you again for coming out, and thank you, Arbor's residents.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is nothing new in the Arbors. I delivered what was called the spokesman, Suburban Weekly now. I delivered over 300 papers every Wednesday. The traffic then, now that's 55 years ago or something, 60 years ago. Now it was like that then. It's a great cut through. That's a great cut through to get to 9, which I think people need. So that's all I want to say. But they've been doing that for a long, long time. Thank you.
Right, are we good now? Anyone else? Okay, then I'll just, you'll be, absolutely. I just wanted to say thank you to the residents and to everyone here. As far as collaboration, I think that was wonderful that you got up and said that, because to me, that means you're part of the community, you want to be part of the solution, and you want to help. And you know, we need to work together, you're absolutely right. As far as the calming devices, like Mrs. Shapiro said, those are really problematic. However, if someone comes up with something that is workable, you know, then they could, you know, bring it forward. We could look at it. I mean, it's not like we're closed on everything, but certain things from what the history of them and what you've researched have come out to be that those really are not that good of an answer. But if you find something else that you think is viable, you could always bring it forward and we could see if it's something that is doable. But thank you for really, you know, coming up and making that suggestion of working collaboratively. The police are always open to that. Anytime I email, like we said with Press Mill Road, I talked to Mrs. Rafferty and she, you know, emailed me that she saw the trailer and that, you know, the association was very thankful. So it does make a difference when we work together, and we point out because we're not in every area every day, so we don't see the whole landscape, and that's why it's good to have the communication between us and not be something that's contentious. It's supposed to be to work together to get the town to just be in a better place. Okay. I'd like to let the mayor speak.
I just want to council and residents, we're committed to improving the situation that everyone has known been going on for decades, but we've all seen an increase in the severity. Anyone who drives sees how problematic the main roads are, and that behavior is carried over into our residential streets. So I just want to let everyone know we're committed to making a difference in the upcoming months. I think you're going to see an improvement because we're going to be bringing more resources without giving a playbook away, but there will be more resources available to engineering, to the police department, to get out there and educate and enforce. So you're going to see that pretty soon. And everyone will be aware of what's going on when they see what's going to happen.
Well, we definitely
Thank you, Mayor.
heard tonight that's important to the people in the
And
community.
I always say if I had the magic wand or the genie, my first wish would be that everyone obey the speed limit.
Oh, it's a big.
And Acting Chief Gumbrick said it's the parents that have to lead by example. If they see their young drivers speeding, they need to really,
back it up. You're right.
put the hammer down and not on the gas pedal.
Yep. No.
But they need to change behavior, and people, I see it of all ages.
Yeah,
The
it's
phone
across the board.
is just, coming here tonight, there was a young person on the phone in front of me, and you saw them crossing the lines back and forth. I was like, you got to be kidding me. It's really scary. So we're going to work together.
Yes.
It's going to be a multi-layered approach, and we will make a difference.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank
you had a
council and
follow-up
residents.
comment?
Thanks for coming out.
Just quick, because we're, progressing. No, it's okay.
police, thank you so much, and that's really, and we welcome, I mean, when we see you out there, we'll bring tea, iced tea, and cookies. We love you guys. The point is this, yes, it's been going on for a long time, but the population, even when I moved back here in the 70s, people were leaving saying it's getting to be a big town. The point is this, we need to deter. When you have those 300 houses that are being built, when you have the Target that's going to be built on 9, when you built all this other stuff, then you're building a warehouse on Schulmeister or on the other roads, what we are looking for is a traffic calming device. If you want us to provide solutions or suggestions, we can. The cut-through shouldn't be Route 9. A byproduct of what they used to do in the 80s and 90s, they repaved the roads every 5 or 10 years. Every decade they did that. They raised the manholes. I don't think they did that on purpose, but that was a deterrent. What happened was that the manholes were actually 4 to 6 inches above the ground, if you remember, in the arbors. And what they did was people that were running through. The unique situation we have in the arbors that we don't have anywhere else in South Old Bridge is we have basically a racing strip. We have a third of a mile that is designed that way. The road is straight. Yes, Throckmorton had that issue, but Throckmorton has a light on Bushnell, if you remember now, right? I don't know when they put that light on, but there's a traffic light, there's a traffic device that's controlling it. We have none of that. So what we're requesting here is, we don't want to tell you, we don't know what the law is, we don't know what the codes are, but we can come up with suggestions if you'd like. We'd rather not do that. We'd rather work with you and say, yes, it's a long-standing problem. We can do something less invasive. Yes, we understand the rumble strips. The diet issue, Asbury Park had that issue. What they did was they put a circle right at the T-junction where Manny Martin Way was. Again, we can brainstorm with you if you'd like. We'd rather refer to you. The manholes actually helped to deter. What you had was people, and it's not usually young people that are running through, it's middle-aged people. The residents can say that they're screaming. I don't know what's, like you said, the world's changed. People don't have civility anymore. So it's really not the young kids. And the police are excellent. I mean, they respect the speed limit amazingly. So, I mean, I won't even go there. I have friends in the police department. But my point is this, we need your help in that regards. If you want us a solution, we can. But just saying that maintenance is an issue, or Township, Edison has speed bumps. They have those speed bumps for over 15 years, right on Top Golf on Route 9. That issue was there where people were running through Top Golf and going from Route 1 over to the, I don't remember where the cut through was. Those speed bumps have been without damage and without maintenance issues for over a decade. Again, this is not a solutioning effort. We're looking here that just saying that it is what it is, we got to live with it. And actually taxing the police is not a solution. The police have so many other things to do than write out tickets or run after people and getting tickets and going through court and all this stuff. We're saying we want to do a deterrent here and utilize the roads in 516 off that service road, or have them go through Jake Brown Road. That's what they should be doing. Deter them from going through Route 9. We know we're not going to eventually stop all, but we just want to dampen it. Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else? Everyone's good? Okay, well, thank you very much for all your time. Very appreciated. Yep, have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next discussion item will be commuter parking rates. Good evening, Casey.
Councilmember Casey has put together very quick slides about the commuter parking management. I can tell you we've been losing money on a parking utility. Since COVID, we probably are making less than half of the cost in return of the revenue. But furthermore, this summer we were advised by the company that has been servicing us that they might not continue the service, but it looks like they are willing to come back. But there are some recommendations that we like to present to the council to consider in light of the loss of revenue. pretty much surplus is going to run out, and then we're going to have to start subsidizing the parking utility. So we like to make, some suggestions, make some changes, eliminate some of the lots that we don't need to service anymore, because some lots are maybe $100 a month in terms of revenue right now. Go ahead, Casey.
Hello, Council. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to talk about the commuter parking utility. As Mr. Shaw had mentioned, it is a utility, so it should be self-funded by the users, similar to the ice rink. So I just want to start out by letting everybody know where we currently have commuter parking lots. So the first parking lot is the Westminster Park and Ride that's up by Ernston Road, and it has 398 spaces available for commuters. The next largest lot is the Inverness Park and Ride, which currently has 252 spaces. It's just north of Ferry Road. The third lot is the Home Depot lot, and we would like to make a pretty substantial change to that lot as far as charging commuters. If anybody's familiar with the Home Depot parking lot, it's in front of Home Depot between the KFC and the Amboy Bank. So when you think about that, it's really nice, it's right on the highway, but to actually get to a bus stop is extremely far away. And pre-COVID, we utilized that lot, and it was always, pretty full, and everybody enjoyed using it. I guess they enjoyed their walk to the bus stop. But since COVID, like Mr. Shaw had said, the revenue is just not there. It actually costs money to collect the money that's generated. So what we're proposing is to eliminate the fee, and if you determine that you want to make that walk and spend that extra time, you should just be able to utilize the parking lot with no charge. You would still be required to have an annual permit, but that's a one-time fee that every parking lot's required to have. The next lot, which I distinguished in blue, is the Jake Brown Park and Ride, and we put 150 spots. That's perfect. If everybody parks properly, and it's a stone lot. There is no lines to distinguish where you should park. So I would say it's probably closer to 125, but perfect conditions, it would be 150 parking spots.
It's not our lot. We can't charge fees. It's Brunetti's, and now it's been sold. So it might not be in existence for too long anyway.
And to utilize that parking lot, you still are required to have the annual permit. The last location is 2500 Route 9. I don't know if anybody really knows where that is, but that's that's one of those little spots. It's on the southbound side of Route 9, right by Throckmorton. There's an AutoZone and there's a firehouse. The parking spots are actually along the property line closer to the firehouse, and they're distinguished with signs. And they do get utilized, and there's no $1 a day for those spots, but you are required to have the annual permit. So total, we have 969 available parking spots for commuters on a daily basis. So the current rates. Old Bridge Township, they charge the $28.75 for the annual permit that you're required to have for every parking location. And then we currently charge $1 a day. So if you park there, most people work 280 days a year. So the 280 plus the 28.75. If you utilize a spot every day, it would cost a commuter $308.75. So the first thing that Mr. Shaw had tasked me with was, what are our neighbors paying? So I looked at Saraville, and they have a couple different programs. They have a monthly permit, a quarterly permit, but to compare apples to apples, we went with their daily parking. So they don't have an annual permit. None of the other towns have an annual permit, but they charge substantially more. Saraville's $4 a day, so if you went to work the 280 days, no vacations, you're a dedicated employee, it's going to cost you $1,120 to commute if you utilize a Saraville parking lot. So then I looked at East Brunswick. They built a nice big parking deck up towards the dump, Edgeboro Road there, and they charge $5 a day with no annual fee, permit rather, and so that totals $1,400 a year if you utilize their parking permits and parking lots. And the last location is the New Jersey Transit lot, which is actually in Old Bridge. Lot C is right next to the TGI Fridays, so the residents have a little bit of a walk, and that's open to everybody, and they're $3 a day with no annual permit. And so that totals $840 a year if you were to go to work every single day. So what we proposed, looking at the numbers, since COVID really devastated the parking utility, we proposed to maintain the annual permit, because that covers all the costs of processing the permits, and then increasing the daily parking to $2 a day. So that would bring a commuter's parking totals up to $588.75 annually if they didn't take any vacations and went to work every single day. So looking at the numbers, that would still keep us $251 lower than our nearest competitor. And then if you were to compare it to Saraville, it's $531 lower than the nearest, than Old Bridge rather. And finally, it's $811 cheaper than East Brunswick. I think the $2 increase is necessary. The $2 total increase is necessary to keep the utilities self-funded. And I don't want to burden the commuter, but I don't want to burden the residents that don't utilize the parking lots either. So it's a necessary step at this point to keep the utility funded.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. You said that the annual fee of $28 covers the cost of maintaining the fee, the permit.
Processing the permit, correct.
So, so that's a wash, right? So even if we didn't charge the $28, there would be no processing. We wouldn't.
Well, the permit still needs to be processed, but the township would take that burden on, and then it would be removed from the proceeds of the parking lots.
Right. So how much does it cost to annually take care of these lots?
Honestly, I don't have those numbers in front of me, but you know, we send a sweeper in quarterly. We have crews that mow, you know, during regular hours. They're not mowing on overtime or anything like that. We do maintain them. The big cost is actually snow removal. We never know what the snow is going to bring. Last year we had that one decent storm. We were able to, based on the timing of the storm, handle that in-house. We didn't have to bring the private contractors in that charge a lot more to bring their machines there and actually clear the lots. So I can get you those numbers though.
Yeah. So how was the Bernetti lot cleared with snow? How did you do that? 'Cause it's all dirt.
Well, we utilize loaders, but it's a little different technique. You can't get down to blacktop, obviously, because there's no blacktop. So we'll bring the loaders in, we'll lower the blade all the way down, and then we just raise it up an inch. And then we push the snow off, and then we'll salt it similar to a blacktop road, and that'll bring it down to gravel, so it's a safe walking condition for the commuters.
So your proposal is to raise the fee to $2 a day per lot.
That's correct.
And you feel that will cover your cost?
At this time, it will.
Well, I don't believe it's going to fully cover yet, because if you look at those parking lots, they're pretty much more than half empty.
Okay, and when you raise that fee, you may lose some more people.
We may make some dent, and hopefully when the commuting fully recovers back, then it will be, you know, basically break even. Right now, I think we are basically at 25-30% of our cost versus revenue.
Did you ever think about selling those pieces of property to a private company and let them run it?
We have not, and I don't know if that's the ultimate solution for us. You know, then you have no control over the rates.
Right.
I mean, just remember, this town is predominantly commuting town. People commute. It's right now, the dynamic has changed because of COVID. But otherwise, people commute. Those parking lots at one time were packed, full. And we were looking for more space to put more parking space. We're still looking at, you know, different options down the road. When some dynamics change or we create a transit village. But definitely we need to start eliminating some of those lots, like Casey mentioned, that Home Depot lot. I mean, $100 a month is the revenue.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for
Well, I'm glad
us
you're
to-
looking at it, Casey, because, in government work, often you find people aren't even looking at that. Like in other big towns like Newark and stuff like that, they probably don't. So I appreciate the
Thank you. It's a group effort. Everybody's always watching the numbers to make sure that we're doing the best we can for the residents.
Yeah, thank you. And you're going to give me those numbers?
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Listen, the cost and everything's going up. The maintenance going up, commuters have gone down, but you still have to maintain the property, whether it's, a snowstorm on time or off time, you still have to take care of it. I think it's smart what you're doing as far as some of the other parking lots to consolidate them, the way that you're addressing it. I think that's best. Listen, everyone is always frustrated that things are going up, but this is the world that we're living in now. And so even if you say as far as your workers, employees, the cost of employees gone up. So, it's a battle all the time, balancing it. And obviously you're paying attention to this because it is a problem with the parking utilities. And I respect the work that you've done. And I think, going under your advice, I think it's a start.
Yeah. Hey, Casey, thank you very much for putting everything together. I think, Mr. Shaw, you're right. The way that people are commuting is different, and it's never going to be 2019 ever again. Those lots are never going to be full Monday through Friday. I mean, that's probably pretty much a guarantee unless something catastrophic happens and everyone has to go back to an office. But from an employment perspective, there will be, I would probably dare say that there'll be maybe 10% of the companies that are going to be in 100% of the time. So obviously we do need to look at ways to mitigate our costs to ensure that we're covering our costs. I would love to see what the overall, as we kind of get back into the school year, what the commute is going, because I know some companies are going back. My company is, I go in twice a week. I drive. There's no way for me to get to Weehawken from here by public transportation. So definitely looking forward to see what all the costs are, especially what it's cost us last year for snow plowing, or even in 2020, what did it cost us to plow a lot that probably was 5% filled at any given time from the time the pandemic started.
Anyone else on my left have a comment or a question? Anyone else? Mr. Garcia?
Yes, Casey, Mr. Shaw, when was the last increase, whether it's annual dues or the parking $1? How long has that been?
I think that ever since we created parking utilities, $1 a month.
When was
They
that?
were-
How long was that?
1993. We've never increased it.
Oh, I think $2 is fine. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Mayor?
Yes, Council, I just want to, it's also important that we maintain those lots and not let them fall into disrepair like we found them many years ago. And just recently, we invested a lot of money having them repaved, curbing, sidewalks, all the safety issues were addressed, security cameras were installed. If we're going to have parking lots, we have to maintain them to today's standards. So not only do we need to break even, but money needs to be set aside each year for 5-10 years from now when they need to be resurfaced again. So it's very important that, like I said, if we do it, let's do it right.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Now, okay, so what is the pleasure of the council?
Move it.
Do you want to move it up for first reading?
I think we should probably look at all the costs first and then look to get this maybe in September, draft something just so we could have it. Also, if we could see how many of those are only, Casey, maybe
I can give you a couple of ideas.
Okay.
I just said that we were pretty much break even in 18 and 19. So the Westminster revenue was $87,000 in 18. Same thing in 19. 2020, 26,000. 2021, 23,000. We're down to the revenue, and at Inverness, it was a $42,000, almost $43,000. In 2020, it went down to 10,000. 2021, 6,380. I mean, that, just the revenue alone tells you that we are.
Cost me more in gas cost me more in gas to get the WeHo, $6,300. Casey, just one question I forgot to ask. The parking permit, so that's only for township folks, or can out-of-town folks get it as well?
So in all the lots except for Home Depot, it's Old Bridge residents only.
Okay.
Home Depot, there's a shared service agreement that Saraville could utilize that.
Okay.
All right, so, yes, Mr. Desai?
As just Mayor said, that there is always a need for money to maintain the parking lot. And I fully agree that we should maintain the parking lot in the best possible way. So even sidewalk is broken, we can fix easily. Otherwise, somebody can fall down and then it's a bigger problem. So I think I will support this.
All right, is there anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I agree too. I think we have to maintain. That's really important. I remember back in 2010, there was money in that utility, and somehow it was diverted. So we don't want that to happen again. We want to keep the money where it belongs and use it for the maintenance everyone agrees on. So I really think it's a good idea that we keep with this and maintain everything as best we can. And thank you for, tracking this and bringing it to our attention, because we don't, focus in on that all the time. And, it's good that you alert us and let us know that there is a problem here, So, okay.
Mary, thanks for bringing that up, because it is true with the parking utility before. Even the collection of the money, we knew that it went skyrocketed. It went up significantly.
Yeah.
I just want to alert the council, we're going to eliminate, we have to, this year in 2022, we collected so far $679. That's it.
Yeah.
So we're going to eliminate the collection enforcement at the Home Depot parking lot. We'll still maintain the best we can, but we're not going to continue, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, but we no longer have all the heavy spending that was associated with that utility. We've streamlined everything as much as we can. We eliminated the, collecting the dollar that way. We did a lot, but there's still a point in time where you're so low in revenue, people coming and using it that, and if you look at East Brunswick and you look at Saraville, I think our residents get a much better bang for their buck. So, okay, anyone else? Do you want to then wait on this till September? What is the?
We'll put together, we'll give you the financial analysis from last year's, balances, information that you requested. And then in September, we'll come back to you with a change in ordinance to establish the fee.
Okay, that's fair enough, okay.
Eliminate the two lots, really, we don't,
Mm-hmm. Okay. You have to consolidate when you have a problem. Right. Okay, thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. Very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Okay. All right. Our next discussion item this evening will be granting fee waiver for Lawrence Harbor Board of Fire Commissioners 20, Lawrence Harbor Parkway, Block 3.11, Lot 3. Yeah, I think so.
I support waiving fees to fire commissioners.
Yes, we have to go through a little process here.
It's a study.
Good evening.
Good evening, council member. The township agencies, as when they come forward for application at the planning, zoning, or other, the township ordinance talks about them, if they want to waive fee, request to the council. And so tonight, we have received two requests, one from Board of Fire Commissioners, from Lawrence Harbor Board of Fire Commissioner, and the second one is for the OBMUA.
Yes.
And we are requesting council to authorize waiver of those fees. I'll tell you more about, and I have in my administrative report about OBMUA. We had a very good meeting, and we spoke about sharing information services and waiving fees to each other, because it doesn't make sense that ratepayers or taxpayers, they're both at the pretty much same, and so there shouldn't be any fees exchanging. And so I will report, I will do that in part of my administrative report request, and I think the OBMEA is taking the steps, we're taking steps on that. But I would request that the council consider and allow both of them to appear in front of the board. Now, they will be paying any professional fees, they know, any third-party fees, but if in-house, if there's any review fees for our in-house professional, they will not be charged.
Does anyone have any questions? Anyone?
I'd like to make a motion to waive the fees.
Okay. Now, can we just vote on it that way? Resolution.
Second.
Second by Mr. De Palma. This is for the Lawrence Harbor Board of Fire Commissioners, 20 Lawrence Parkway, Block 3.11, Lot 3, waiving of any in-house review fees. On the roll call, Councilperson DeCaro.
Can I interrupt you for a second? Application fees being waived, permit fees.
So the land development ordinance allows the council, enables the council to waive the application fees, not the escrow. So the request is to waive the application fees. For Lawrence Harbor, it's the zoning board application fee, and for OBMUA, it is the planning board application fee.
So it's just the fees?
Yes, that is correct.
Application fees in both cases?
Yes.
So the first motion is to waive the application fee for Lawrence Harbor Board of Commissioners. We can vote on that, and then next meeting, I'll just do a confirming resolution if it passes.
Yeah, that would be good.
All right, and then the next motion, okay?
Two separate
Thank you.
vote.
Thank you.
Mr. Peschitti, second by Councilman De Palma. Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
I was out of the room, so I'm going to do a no vote.
An abstain or a no vote?
I'm not going to vote because I don't know what it's about.
Just heard.
Abstain. Mr. Peschitti.
Yes.
Ms. Walker.
Yes.
And Council President Sohar.
Yes.
8 yeses, 1 abstention.
Thank you.
All
Okay,
right,
so
I'd like
next.
to move the planning board
Second it.
for the
So we have
OBMUA.
to read it out. Okay.
So the second item was waiving the planning board capital review fees for the proposed Disbrow Road for the MUA. Again, that was the application fees for the planning board application. So a motion was made by Councilman Peschitti. Did we get a second?
Yes.
I'll second.
Who was it?
Mr. De
Councilperson
Palma.
De Palma.
Mm-hmm.
On the roll call, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
No.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Again, abstain.
Councilperson Peschitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Abstain.
Council President Sohar.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, and we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Wouldn't matter.
6 yeses, 2 abstentions, and 1
One no.
1 no.
Yeah, I think that's right.
No, she abstained. She abstained. Okay, and so we are removing the last item on the discussion, under discussion, the mass assembly ordinance.
because we will have an ordinance introduced at the next meeting. So there'll be no discussion needed at this time.
Okay, so that's taken off the agenda. Next will be report of the township clerk.
I have no report.
Thank you. Report of the township attorney.
None at this time, thank you.
Okay, and administrative report, Mr. Shah.
Thank you, Council President. Just give me a minute. Okay, here we go. Nope, I have the longest version. Thank you, Council President. The administrative report for August 9, 2022. Item number 1, municipal courtyard improvement that you just voted. On July 27, bids were received and open and read in public for the municipal courtyard improvement number 2022-63. Precise Construction, Inc. was the lowest bidder with a base bid of $530,915 and add alternate bid for $90,375 with a total bid of $621,290. The scope of work includes reconstruction of courtyard adjacent to the Old Bridge Township Municipal Building, drainage improvements, concrete work, proposed retaining walls, heated sidewalk system, hardrails, electrical work, and landscape. The proposed construction is anticipated to take 90 calendar days to complete. I just want to alert the council and the public that heated sidewalk has been from the beginning of installation. We just need to that continue. It is a great things during the winter snowstorm particularly, and we have a senior Silver Lining Senior Center right there, and it is something that we need to continue to maintain. Item number 2, third quarter tax payment. Tomorrow, August 10th, is the last day to pay taxes without interest or penalties. The tax office will be open between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. Payments received up to August 10th will accrue interest back to the statutory due date of August 1st. So there's an extended time tomorrow in tax office. Item number 3, paint and blue days. The next paint and fluorescent bulb day will be this Saturday, August 13th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Township Recycling Center. All residents from Middlesex County are welcome to drop off paint, latex stains, and more, along with fluorescent light bulb. Visit oldbridge.com/recycling for more information. Item number 4, brush pickup. Residents are reminded that brush and tree branches are picked up every 2 weeks by appointment until October. Please visit oldbridge.com/recycling to make an appointment or call 732-721-5600, extension 6140. Item number 5, Saltwater Day. The Department of Parks and Recreation is pleased to announce the annual Saltwater Day, which will take place this Saturday, August 13th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. This event will have arts, craft vendors, ride, entertainment, food, live music, and conclude with fireworks. For our 21 and older guests, the Lawrence Harbor Fire Department will be hosting beer garden. Proof of age is required. This event will take rain or shine. Item number 6, Parks and Recreation. Vendor application for Old Bridge Day, September 25th, are posted on the township website. Please visit oldbridge.com/recreation. Item number 8, share service agreement with the OBMUA. Mayor, Council President Mary Soher, Councilwoman Anita Greenberg Belli, Mike Roy, MUA engineer Nicole Sapiro, Township engineer, and I met to discuss potential sharing of information and various services. The Township agreed to waive all application fees to MUA, and MUA agreed to waive all connection fees to the Township. The Township Engineering Department and MUA Engineering Department will regularly communicate with each other about any major road-related capital projects. And that's very important that Engineering Department communicates, because we don't want to pave the road and then OBMUA has to go and remove or cut through that and repave. and double cost. So they're going to maintain that communication so that they know well that, we don't end up with a duplicate cost. We also agreed to plan to meet on a quarterly basis to discuss area of cooperation and setting up services. And then once we get through with OBMUA and us, we want to expand to other government agencies in town and start meeting and see what we can, how we can help each other. And I want to thank Councilwoman Anita Greenberg-Belli for setting up the meeting and taking a lead in helping the township with OBMUA. Item 9, County Route 516 eastbound detour ended. As of Friday, August 5th, this is good news, the County Road 516 eastbound detour ended. The temporary traffic light signals will be removed shortly. The contractor will be working to complete the final stage of drainage improvements. Please direct all questions to Lima Charlie Construction Office at 833-242-2427 or Middlesex County Engineering at 745-3283. For updates on this project, please visit oldbridge.com/project. And one more item, item number 10, August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. Please join Mayor Owen Henry at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the courtyard of the municipal complex to remember, without stigma, those in our community we have lost to overdose. It's time to remember and time to act. That concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any comment on it?
Move it.
Okay, moved it. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, second by Dr. Greenberg. Mr. Biscotti?
Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma. Yes. Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg-Belli. Yes. Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Shaw. And now we'll continue and conclude with council comments.
Councilperson DeCaro, you are first.
Yes, I'll be brief. It's been a long night. I just want to reiterate Saltwater Day on Saturday for those residents, for all residents. And just everyone have a great night and please stay cool. That's it. Thank you.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yeah, it's just congratulations to all our officers again for their promotions. Job well done. Also, to all the residents, enjoy the rest of your summer and your Labor Day. And I believe our next council meeting is after Labor Day. And so I guess I'll be the first one to say this. I hope all the kids enjoy their first day back at school.
Councilperson Desai.
This August 13, Indian community of Old Bridge is going to celebrate the 75th anniversary of India's Independence Day by raising India's flag right here on a municipal complex. Time is at 10 a.m., so official flag raising should be between 10 and 10:30, and after that there will be light lunch. So I, on behalf of the Indian community, invite all council people and the public of Old Bridge to join us in celebrating 75th anniversary of India's Independence Day. There will be light lunch will be served in Senior Center about 11. Thank you. And if anybody needs any information, please contact me and I'm going to forward tomorrow the information to our clerk also so she can have it so if somebody wants it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilperson Garcia.
Hi, yes, thank you. I'll be brief as well. Maybe not so brief. Last year when I ran for when I was campaigning for this spot, I spoke to a lot of residents in Lawrence Harbor. And they wanted that tire removed from Lawrence Harbor. that's been there for 10, 15, 20 years. I'm not even sure how long it's been there, but it's been quite a while. So I called the mayor and Mr. Shah. With their approval, they gave me the best worker we have, Mr. Casey Lennon. Casey came out there today. Am I yelling? Casey was out there today with his crew. I think there was at least 7 of them. It took him a couple hours, and that tire was huge. I mean, it was huge. Casey was leading from the front. He was in that nasty water. And Casey, I don't know how you did it, but he was a maniac. He got those cables going. He got the guys working. 2 hours, that tire was out. So it's taken 10, 15 years, and I want to thank you and your team for doing this. It was hard work, and I really appreciate it. And I'm sure the residents of Lawrence Harbor are more than happy to not see that eyesore anymore at low tide. It was a big tire. That's all I have. Thank you again, Casey.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank the MUA to their quick response. Ticetown Road had been paved a few years ago, and on the bend, there was a manhole that was still sunk down. So it was on a curve, so when people tried to avoid it, they would go into their lane. So I was getting some complaints and calls, and it was obvious. So I called the MUA. Within a day, they had raised that manhole, surfaced the road, and it's nice and smooth and safe, and it looks great. So the next thing I want to say is that obviously, always at this time when the tax bills go out, we get calls. And so I do have to say, and I know everyone gets this, it's called the Division of Taxation Collection, the letter in there. And I do have to emphasize that the school board is 58% of our budget. We are working in this municipal budget of 19%, and all the services that we provide and the employees and how things are done throughout the town, the police department, that goes to everybody. The school board, we all pay for it, but it really, when you think of it, seniors, people that send their kid to parochial schools, but we're all paying for it. And listen, we all want kids to have a good education. Education is paramount, but the state has never changed the funding from this, so I do blame the state. But what I do want to say that people don't realize, we collect the taxes. So say like people don't pay their taxes and there's a deficit to the Board of Ed, the municipal budget has to come out of that. We have to pay that. But it's even more, our tax collection, we do the service of that. We collect the taxes, we process it. So we incur a fee to our employees are doing it. That the municipal the Board of Education doesn't do it, the county doesn't do it, or any other entity that we have to distribute this money out. So I wanted to say that. And then also, what is disturbing, we hear how prices of everything has gone up now to the point and to the extreme that it's actually absurd. So I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that pipe for the MUA has gone up 100% in 2 years. So that is why price of everything goes up, and I want to thank and really put the direction on the federal government, because that is totally absurd. And the cost that we have to incur, even in town, our prices go up. And I'll even just say as far as gas. When you think of that, when you think of healthcare, how it's gone up in the past 8 years, it's astonishing. And I would have to commend really the administration and Mr. Shaw. People give him a hard time. It's not easy to balance this budget and maintaining it and providing all the services we do with the cost that we do. And I'll tell you what, we go over, when we do the budget, it is line by line. It's not a stack of 1,100 pages with things just pushed in all over. And believe me, it's not read, and they pass these things. And these things affect us on a local level, so I have to bring that out. And it was just astonishing when I heard that the MUA pipes had gone up 100% in 2 years. It's a disgrace. Thank you, and I wish everyone an enjoyable rest of the summer. The summer flew by. I hope everyone's had fun and enjoyed your family and friends. and be safe and enjoy. Thank you.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I also want to wish everyone a happy and safe Labor Day. Debbie Walker's husband, Bruce, the chairman of the MUA, was just given a new heart and liver, and from what she says, he's doing good. I would like everybody to keep him in their prayers. And the last thing I want to say is, this was one hell of an agenda, and Mary, you did a great job. Thank you.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
I just want to thank Councilwoman Anita Greenberg for putting together this agreement with the MUA and with the council, because it's things like that that add up. We'll save money. You know, it's just great. So I like to see that, and you know, congratulations to the administration, to the mayor, and the business administrator for taking care of the finances. Good job. Thank you.
Councilperson Walker.
I just want to wish everybody a happy end of the summer and a happy Labor Day. I didn't realize we weren't going to be here till after Labor Day.
And Council President Sohar.
I'll close quickly, too. I just wanted to make sure that I recognized Alan and Stu Steiner. They were the owners of Matawan World of Gardening. And they're retiring, and, you know, we'll miss them, but a retirement well-deserved. And I just wanted to thank them. They had been there for over 20 years, and they became really a big part of the community. And they always were very generous, you know, whether Alan donated pumpkins to the elementary schools or else donated a gift certificate or something for a tricky tray. They were absolutely a big part of the community, and they really will be missed. But I just wanted to congratulate them and wish them a long and healthy retirement and tell them we are going to miss you. You're really very, very big in the community. Thank you. Everybody have a great night and have a good Labor Day.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Councilman DePalma. Roll call. Councilperson DeCara.
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Murphy.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti. Yes. Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Council President Sohar. Yes. Meeting adjourned at 10:40.